Something like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button, because you already know what time it is. And you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well, but what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this, and it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through the social media, share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone, but do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are going to talk about Ayesha Curry. Imagine Slice, y'all. Imagine Slice. All right. This was something else, y'all. This was something else. I had to go to a channel that I never heard of, and I had to watch a whole interview to see what was going on. And I'm gonna say it was a battle, y'all. It was a battle. Watching that interview, Joe. It was a battle. I ain't gonna recommend it. I'm gonna say be careful in these YouTube streets or whatever platform you happen to be on. But it was a battle. But I did it. Okay, I did it because I do the greatest show on social media. So, I got to check in and stuff and really know what I'm talking about. So I did it, y'all. I did it. Okay. Feel like I almost running the marathon or something right about now, but I did it. Woo! But we gonna get into it, y'all. We gonna get into it, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna go a different way than people think it's gonna go. But we gonna deal with Ayesha Curry and Imagine Slice, y'all. But before we go too far into this, y'all know I want to give credit where credit is due. We got people who help out with the channel in all kinds of ways. So shout out to people that give me the views, because of course you are very important. Shout out to the people who leave comments after the stream. You help the algorithm in a great way when you do that. Shout out to all the folks who hit that like button, and you got to make sure you hit that like button, y'all. No matter when it happened, you hit that like button. I don't care how old the video is. Okay, you hit that like button. All right, and shout out to the people who come through at a super major level, people who give financial contributions to the channel, because I cannot do things the same way without these folks. And that's just real talk. So shout out to the Orange Pill Nurse. She is the sponsor of today's stream, the Orange Pill Nurse. I tell y'all, big or small, I appreciate it all. Okay, big or small, I appreciate it all. So shout out to the Orange Pill Nurse, the sponsor of today's stream. And shout out to y'all. And you know what? I appreciate getting sponsored by y'all. Okay, I know there's big money out there and corporations and all that type of stuff, but you know, ain't nothing like the people supporting you. Ain't nothing like the people supporting you. And let me say, shout out to some of the first people to check in this morning. And y'all know how it goes around here. There can only be one. So I got to say, shout out to my main man, Tunnel Runner Roy Now. He is the Highlander of today's stream. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Glad to see you in the building. Glad to see you in the building. And I told y'all, if you come too early, it don't quite work for you. If you come too late, somebody gonna beat you. Yo, you got to thread that needle. You got to thread that needle. But shout out to Tunnel Runner right now, because he done did it. He done did it. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to the Righteous Teacher. Great to see you in the building as well. My main man, Trail Bentley, is here. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's baby. Hashtag Hell Hydra. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. My main man, Floyd Thompson, is in the building. Yay, yay. Glad to see you in the house, my brother. Glad to see you in the house. The one, the only, the guy who helps keep some stuff in order around here. Chef Mike's Roundtable is in the building. Great to see you, my brother. Great to see you. We got Capri 10 in the building as well. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. We got Patrick Saint in the house. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? Mr. Me Too is here. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Afro Merchant, man. Appreciate you, Afro Merchant. You've been rocking with me for a good long time. Shout out to Afro Merchant. Eric M. Grease with Fire is here. Glad to see you. We got Nice Sometimes in the building. What up, brother? What up? Great to see you. Great to see you. I hope that life is steady improving, brother. I hope that life is steady improving back to on a rapid pace, back to where you used to be and beyond. Real talk. Shout out to Jay Bay. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? Good to have you in the building. Good to have you. Kevin 3905 is here as well. And we got Inspired Truth Broadcast, y'all. Woo! It's been good, y'all. It's been good. Now, y'all, I'm gonna have to say something that I don't know if people are gonna be ready for it, but I went and I watched this whole interview, y'all. And I'm gonna say, Lord have mercy. It was a tough one. It was a tough one for me to get through. Okay. Now, obviously, I am aware there have been people who I assume saw a clip of this particular video. I believe they saw a clip, and people ran with that clip, and they got issues with that clip, where Ayesha Curry, who I'm gonna say, after watching this interview, one of the luckiest women on the planet. One of the luckiest women on the planet, y'all. She said some things and people got a little up in arms about it. Okay, she said some things and people got a little up in arms about it. She said that she never wanted to be a wife and she never wanted to be a mother. And I know how that can sound, Because that can definitely sound like some crazy work. Okay. And I understand people having a reaction. What are you talking about? How could you say that you did not want to be a wife and you did not want to be a mother? I get it, y'all. I get it. I understand how folks can have problems with that situation. But I'm going to have to be fair and say, y'all, in this particular situation here, this situation, she was asked a question. Okay. She was asked a question and she was given a legitimate, honest response. That, back then she just didn't want to be a wife or a mother. Now, this is the thing. Can you fault her for being honest in her response? She was asked about what did she envision things in the future, and she said she never thought about being a wife or a mother. That just wasn't where it was for her. So now, that being the case, is she wrong for saying on this broadcast that it was not her intention to be a wife and a mother? All right. Now, let's be real, y'all. Women can do what they want to do. Okay. They can do what they want to do. They can have these feelings that they want to have. They can use these feelings they got to do whatever it is that they really trying to get done. They make certain decisions and things like that. She has a right to not want to be somebody's mother when she gets older. That is her right. She's in America, y'all. This is not how, I know in other places in the world, they say women got a lot less freedom and things like that, y'all. I think we got to get comfortable with the fact that women have freedoms. And we got to accept they're going to use those freedoms how they want to. Okay? Now, what I am going to say is, if you look at her life and you accept that she truly did not necessarily want kids and she did not want to be married, how can you look at this woman and say she ain't one of the luckiest women on planet Earth? For a woman who didn't want to get married and you end up married to not just a professional athlete, because there's a lot of professional athletes out there. Salute to all those people out there who become professional athletes. But this would be more toward the men because she's a woman. She married a man. So, it's a lot of men out there who are professional athletes, but come on, let's keep it real, y'all. That ain't most men. Most men don't have what it takes to be a professional athlete. Okay, much as we imagine, want to be. So not only did she get a professional athlete, she got one that went to the top league of that particular sport, which happens to be the National Basketball Association. So she got her an NBA player. Okay, an NBA, not because y'all know this. People around the world, they play in other countries and things like that. There's, the folks who ain't quite made it, CBA and all that. But she got a guy who was at the top of professional athletes. Okay, she got somebody who's in the top. When it comes to basketball players, she got somebody in the top league, and she didn't get somebody struggling in that league. Okay, she got a premier player in that league, a man who's developed himself and has become an all-star, a guy who's been allowed to play to represent the entire country. A guy who done went to the Olympics and got the medal. All right, this who she married. Not somebody who's a scrub for an NBA player. Okay, no, she got a top shelf dude when it comes to the NBA. You put a team together, of course he's in your top team. Okay, if you're gonna put a team together right now in the NBA, of course he's gonna be in your top 10. Well, probably top 5. Probably top 3 when I think about it. If you had to put a team together with active players, you talk about top 3 more than likely. Okay, who wouldn't pick him? However you wanted to put the team together. Well, whatever position you want to start with, you really gonna leave Steph Curry out there? past 3 players, I mean, who gonna do that? So to not have the ideal of getting married and having children, and this who you end up with, I'm gonna say, hey, she one of the luckiest women in the world, period. And that's just real talk. You know, they talked about how hectic her schedule could be. Uh Shout out to Trail Bailey. He said, I think they have a lead in Puerto Rico. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. Because he could have been playing over there. Real talk, y'all. He could be playing over there, but he over here, okay, with the big dogs, okay? Shout out to Trail Billy on that one. Now, it's good to be able to play in the NBA. It's even better to have a real career in the NBA. And it's even better to be an all-star in the NBA. And it's even better to be looked at as a superstar in the NBA. And you know what's even better than that? For someone to say you're the greatest of this particular thing in the NBA. And it has been established at this point. And I do believe, at least right now, as crazy as it sounds, anybody who knows anything about the NBA, I think unanimously we will say that Steph Curry is the greatest shooter the NBA has ever had. Okay? I believe that's what we would unanimously say. And it's hard to get a bunch of people to get unanimous on something. Okay? You know, but I do even believe, even the Larry Bird fans will say, well, no, Steph is better. So that's who she landed. But she never wanted to have kids. And she never wanted to get married. And guess what, y'all? I do see that there's other people out there saying that Steph Curry is being embarrassed by Ayesha Curry again. Has she embarrassed him in the past? Absolutely. I'm not going to say that. Okay. I'm not going to say she didn't do that. That's how I'm going to say it. I'm not going to say she didn't do this. Of course, she has embarrassed him in the past. She has created a lot of trouble. I do honestly believe she cost the Golden State Warriors a championship. When she started talking about the referees and whatnot, and people don't necessarily connect it together, but that's when Steph Curry went into a slump. You know, he's in the playoffs. It's a critical time. His wife is talking bad on the NBA, talking about how the refs are reffing the game and things like that. I think that affected him, which affected his team. And, you know, they was up 3-1 in the series. And, yeah, if my memory's right, that was the same year they was up 3-1 that they ended up losing. Okay? So I do believe she was a big part of, you know, him losing the ring. Now, maybe she care about that. Maybe she don't. All right. But it is what it is. You know, shout out to Truth Over Emotions. Now, see, that's a heck of a list right there. When you talk about greatest shooters, he got Steph there. He got Petrovic. You know, he got Danny Granger, Mark Price, and Steve Kerr. Okay. Now you left Larry Legend out, but I guess I mentioned him. You know, but you gonna make that list? Well, I mean, but that's a tough list though. If you think about it, that's a tough list right there. Real talk. You know, them boys can stay in Fuego. And that's real talk, y'all. Them boys stay in Fuego. And that's real. You know? So she ain't got just any bum. She ain't got nobody who just barely made it. Okay? She ain't got somebody who just barely made it. Now, shout out to Champ Cop for Life. He says Steph Curry is a top 5 all-time great basketball player. And you know what? When his career is over, we'll be able to properly place him somewhere. And his career not even over yet. But and that's why I say if he, you know, as amongst the active players, no matter how you put a roster together, would you really not add him to your roster if you had the ability to? Like he really wouldn't be a top 3 pick, you know? However you want to put your roster together. Because, you know, it'd be somebody who say, I want to start with a center. People might say, well, I'm going to start with this way, or I want to start with a small forward who has the ability to do X, Y, and Z. You're going to take that man top 3. Okay? Shout out to Jay Bones. He said, these women lost their mind. Shout out TJ Bones. Yeah, a lot of times they do, y'all. A lot of times they do. And you know what? It's up to the men that they with to push them back in the right direction. Now, I'm going to say this, y'all. And I'm pretty sure y'all going to be surprised I said it. What she said, okay, what she said, I'm not going to say I really even had an issue with it because I heard the conversation. I sat here and listened to that whole thing, which was not really what I wanted to do. I'll just say I'll probably never watch it again. I'll say that. Okay. But she was responding to, how she sees the world and what she thought her future was going to be and things like that. And she said that she wanted to be, basically a corporate woman. She saw herself getting some job at some corporation and she wanted to perform highly for that corporation. And she didn't think having children and being a wife was important. Now, I'm going to say this, y'all. I'm glad she was being honest. It's good that men see that, a woman can be honest in these type of situations. And she was being honest. That's why I wasn't even tripping that she said it, y'all. Now, this is the thing. I know there's a lot of people who kind of came at her to a certain degree. I didn't really listen to a lot of people's response to this. I just saw some titles and, what they put in or whatever. I did listen to Godfrey. Okay, I did listen to him. But hey, he got picked. The Roger Report Live, I play favorites sometimes, so shout out to Godfrey. I did listen to what he had to say. I saw a lot of people with titles that would say that they saw this as a very negative thing. Shout out to Reynolds. He says she's never satisfied. Hashtag when doves cry. Now I'm gonna say this, y'all. The way I believe the context was, okay, the way I believe the context was, she wasn't saying at this moment that she didn't want to be a wife and a mother. Okay. All right. Shout out to Black Uru Strikes. He says Ayesha is largely being judged by her prior offenses. If this was all any of us have ever heard from her, we would be less likely to think, we would less likely think the lesser of this particular interview. And you know what, Black Rule Strikes? I believe he's hitting the nail directly on the head. I don't think what she said in this interview was really all that. I don't think she was trying to embarrass her husband in any kind of way. And you know what? I got to give her some props because before they really got into the interview, she at least acknowledged, she said, y'all believe it or not, she literally said, I hope I don't get into trouble by anything I say in this interview. Okay, paraphrasing her. She literally said that, y'all. She said, I hope I do not get into trouble by anything I say in this interview. Okay? Now, I'm going to say this, y'all. I ain't no rocket scientist, but that's going to tell me that Steph Curry and Ayesha Curry has had some private conversations about some of the things that she says in public. And to me, that only makes sense. Okay? Now, shout out to Truth Teller. He say, Roger, she never said she wants to be a wife or a mother now. I don't think that's how it was, man. I think that was just what she was saying about how she used to be in the past. Now I go back and check it. It's right at the beginning of the interview. It's right at the beginning. Less than 5 minutes in. I ain't recommending people go watch the interview because I know that was a tough watch for me. That's all. I'm just being honest. It was a tough watch for me. Okay, and I heard a lot of stuff that. I mean, there were a lot of what I would say is imagined slights. The things that she said she had to go through, a lot of that stuff was just imagined slights, y'all. It was women talking about things and saying things and, feeling like somebody did something to them where things did not actually happen to them. So they were imagined slights. It wasn't them talking about these hard things that she had to go through to get to the places that she has been. Now, I will give her credit for saying that, because of her situation, there were doors open to her. She said it was her job to walk through the doors and make something happen with the situations, which I can say, yeah, because anybody can open the door for you. Door can be open for you. But you could be this person's son, this person's daughter, this person's niece, this person's nephew. Doors can be open for you, but you do got to do something with the door when you get in there. Unless you're gonna really have somebody trying to protect you full on, you got to do something when you get in those doors. So I think Ayesha past really is catching up with her when it comes to what she said, y'all. I really think Ayesha past. Because I seen people with these negative titles like they about to go in on Ayesha because she didn't want to be a wife and a mother. Now, I'm going to say realistically, you a young lady, why would you not want to be a wife and a mother? So what I'm not saying it wasn't problematic that she thought that way. And she does show how a lot of Black women think. Because y'all know she mixed, so she gonna be classified as Black. Y'all know she mixed, right? She said she grew up in Canada too. She came to the U.S. right about high school age, I think she said. Okay, so she's Canadian. She then came over to the U.S. happened to be in North Carolina. As a lot of y'all already know, that's where Daryl Curry, established his family. That's where they were. He was playing for the Charlotte Hornets. So it all makes sense how they connected in high school. All right. And they kind of got together. She said about 18ish, 19. They kind of they got together after high school. Okay. They got together after high school. And it worked out for them. She said, she mentioned them going on the first date and how it went. She mentioned her being, like a girl. She liked the boy, but don't want to show that she liked the boy. That was there. She that relationship worked out for her, and she got married at 22. And she even mentioned how no adults said anything to her as if she was too young to get married. Okay. Black Rule Strike says, I think she is blended, not mixed. Well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Because she really didn't state that in the interview. Now I'm not saying I got that from the interview. I just remember stuff from her in the past. So, she said nobody was tripping that she was a young lady at 22 years old about to get married. Nobody was saying anything. And you know what, y'all? I think she's just a young woman who was exposed to good things and she just didn't recognize that they were good things. And she had to think about it. And she talks to other people who just can't recognize stuff is good. What have I told y'all on many, many, many times? 22 is the right age for a woman to get married. If you 18 years old, you can marry who you want to. You don't need to be out in the world for no long period of time. You should be messing with the man who gonna end up being your husband. And that's just real talk. And basically, that's what she did. She got with the guy who ended up being her husband. And the guy happened to be an NBA player. The guy happened to get very rich. And she lives a fantastic life. And I'm going to tell you how y'all know, how you could easily know she lives a fantastic life. Because the person who interviewed her said, well, is it good that I got you in off season? She said, yeah. But the off season is only about 2 months. Only about 2 months. Because Because, you know, if her husband play well, the playoffs could go to June. She said life can be a little hectic because 3 of our kids have birthdays in July and our wedding anniversary is in July. Did y'all hear that? Her life is hectic because 3 kids got birthdays in July. The anniversary is in July. And basically, she only gets about a 2-month vacation per year. A 2-month vacation per year if her husband plays well. You see how that is? If her husband play well, if he keep playing in the playoffs, you know, making playoff money, if he's fighting for rings, you know, that may not end for a while. That may go all the way to June. So, you know, we only get about 2 months. How many people work a job? And you could depend on getting 2 months off per year. Okay. How many now that's only if her husband is playing well and he fighting in the playoffs to go for a ring. Because if he don't make the playoffs and he ain't going for a ring, he ain't even playing in June. Okay. Okay. Yeah, y'all keep in mind that the NBA usually stops in April. Okay. It usually stops in April, and the playoffs start also in April. You know, so by the time June comes, a lot of folks already out. They out for the year by the time June comes. Okay. So if they just have a regular season, you know, they on vacations, you know, somewhere around April 21st, they on vacation. Okay. And it's good till next season start. And that's why I say she got to be one of about the luckiest women on planet Earth with all these different imagined slights. Y'all, based on what I heard her say, she ain't got no problems. Ayesha Curry ain't got no problems. Okay. And I think because of the things she has said in the past, people are reacting to the way she has been. This woman ain't got no problems, y'all. I didn't hear nothing in that whole situation where it sounded like she struggled in life in any kind of way. You see what I'm saying? She said about 18, 19, they was already talking to each other. Okay. She was married by 22. You know, I mean, she grew up as a kid in Canada. Canada that always had good reports about it being a nice place to be. The people are really friendly and things like that. I visited Canada myself. People have treated me excellently. You know, seems like it's just a very nice place to be. Ayesha had no problems, man. Not that I can tell. You know, she had no problems. Life just been good. You know, it just been plain no good. I don't even know how else you would really describe it. It's just been plain no good. She been living the life that women dream about. That's the one she got. Real talk. Okay. Shout out to King Pix. He says at the Roger Report Live, the problems are that she needs a man in her life to hit it right. Now, King Pix, I'm gonna say, y'all, we say stuff like that, but that ain't really what's going on. Okay. And when you can't tame women with sex, I understand a lot of men think that, and it's been in songs and all kinds of stuff. But as a man who has talked to women, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. And the truth might surprise you. Okay. I done had more than one woman tell me about how they cheated on a man who was packing and he was doing the do. And they was cheating on that man with this guy. And he just didn't really have it like that when it came to the bedroom. And I get why men want to believe if I can hit it right, I can get her to act right. I'm gonna tell y'all that is our own egos. That has nothing to do with women. That is our egos as men. We as men want to believe that we can do something to make her act right. And that's why men lean to sex and money, because those are things that we believe we can control. They're going to do what they want to do, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. They're going to do what they want to do because they want to do it. It ain't about you. Okay? It ain't about you. A woman gets with you so she can get what she wants. It's not about you. You're just a guy that she can get what she wants out of. Okay? That's all you are. You're the guy that she can get what she wants out of. It ain't about you at the end of the day. She make her decisions for her. Okay? She makes her decisions for her. And shout out to Black Rule Strikes, somebody who know a little something. He said, great pipe only makes a woman who wants to be wild even wilder. Exactly. Okay, y'all? You give her some great pipe, you can actually turn her on to being a hoe. You thought she was a good girl. You give it to her the right way. Now she thinking about sex far more than she even already was. And she ain't got time to wait for you. She ain't got time. You busy. You at work. She got to go do something because you done made it that important in her life. You know? See, a lot of guys, we don't think about the dark sides of this stuff too. You know, you done made it that important in her life. Now she got to go get some. And now she can't wait on you to come home from work. She can't wait till she go out with you again if y'all don't live together. I ain't gonna see that nigga till Saturday. It's Tuesday. I need some now. Maybe she does try to resist. Maybe she cool for the rest of Tuesday evening. Maybe she can get through it on Wednesday. Thursday, she out here making it happen. Y'all, if you saw yesterday's show, y'all saw that link I put in there. What did Nia Long say, y'all? What Nia Long tell Chris? What Nia Long tell Chris? You know, that beautiful woman that we all looked at like she was like the one. You know, she always carried herself in a nice way where you'll think she was just wonderful, sweet, loving woman, all that good stuff. What did she tell Chris? Because Chris told us how it really went down. What she tell Chris? Oh, I know how to get some D if I need some. Okay? No matter what woman you talking about, y'all, understand, they know how to get some D when they need some. So now it ain't about hitting it right. Sometimes people just take for granted what their situation is, and Ayesha Curry is in a situation that it would be extremely hard not to take for granted. Y'all, she said it was about 18, 19 years old that they got together. Steph Curry is the only man she's been with seriously. And she was married by 22. The Ducks fell where they should have for her. And not only did that happen, the man got rich. Now, if we accept the stuff she say, now I know women lie, but if we accept the stuff she say, all right, she even said that she didn't even understand how big a deal Steph was. She didn't understand sports like that. She said her family would only watch, well, she didn't say only watch, but her family, she said somebody was a big deal, but that was about the extent of sports she knew. I think she might have said Drew Bledsoe, if my memory is correct. You know, but she said outside of that, I wasn't really paying attention to sports like that. Okay. It didn't happen. So she didn't even understand how big a deal this was. When Steph Curry left college early, she said when she talked to him about it, when he having this big, you know, he going through this thing about should I leave or should I not leave? She said she told that man to stay in college. Not understanding how big a deal this was. She told him to stay in college. Off the strength of, you know, everybody don't get to have an education. You'll be able to get yours. So you should just stay in college. Which is crazy work because, I'm very much for education. And I'm definitely very much for education where you can get it free. But if the NBA come a calling, you should be answering that. You can go to college while you're in the NBA. You got enough time, especially nowadays. We got online classes and things like that. But even before all that stuff happened, you can go to summer school. Okay, you play, and then you catch up with college during the summers, man, and you finish your degree that way. Okay. Shout out to Deborah, brother. He says, ironically, the Roger Report just did a show on black male guilt. Black men are in the chat feeling guilty for her being a. I'm gonna just say being a B. Hilarious. Y'all, now I'm gonna say this. I do think the negative stuff is really coming from the things she has said in the past. But for her to start the interview acknowledging that I hope I don't get in trouble for something I say in this interview, to me that says there has been some checking going on behind closed doors. Now the thing is, do we accept that? Do we accept that Steph did some checking behind closed doors? And I know when stuff was going on, and I wish I still had my content from my other channels too. But I'm gonna say this, y'all. I said then, y'all don't know Steph ain't checking up behind closed doors, and he probably not gonna check in the public situation. Okay, now I'm a person that believes where you do it, that's where it get handled, because I know it works. But Steph is famous at this point. It's gonna be different if he do it. Okay, it's definitely gonna be different if he do it. Shout out to King Fix. He said, "I'm telling you, Roger, I can save her." No, I think she gone, y'all. I definitely think she gone. Okay. No, I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna say I think Steph has reined her in. That's what I'm gonna say based on this interview. I think Steph has reined her in. That is my honest belief. And she don't want to get in trouble no more. I'm gonna say that. The tone of the interview she had, now she did do some lying, if you ask me. And that's based on how she see the world. And she talked about these different things. I'm going to say they were imagined slights, y'all. Imagined slights. Steph done did a great job, hooking her up. I mean, I think Steph handling his business, real talk. So if he can't save her, I don't think none of the rest of us can. That's we talking about the greatest shooter, y'all. He got plenty of money, okay? Plenty of money. If he can't save her, how can we? Real talk. And I'm going to just read this from Black Rule real quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to Truth Teller since he done came up. A Black Rule Strike says, if the right checking was being done, she is not doing these interviews. How often have you seen Savannah James have these kinds of problems? Okay. Black Uru throwing the cards on the table. He throwing the cards on the table right now. Well, I was saying, once you start comparing people, it gets rough out here. It gets rough.
Uru just took the last book, son. He had the big Joker. He just took it. So he can't. I mean, this is absurd. All right. So the problem with this lady, and I'm going to say I think Steph's pimp hand is strong. I will say it's strong because I know her type. Now, she is of Jamaican background. I have family members that look just like her. Light eyes, light skin, running around, think they fly in the world, even though they're probably more than average looking. Right? They're average looking, but they think they fly because they light skin, light eyes, and I ain't really black. That whole thing they got popping on that side of the fence. But the thing that most people, even women, having a problem with is she's disrespecting a lot of wishes, a lot of chicks' dreams, right? You hear them talk. how men's supposed to be, what they supposed to do, how they supposed to provide, what they supposed to give, what kind of man is a real man. Steph meets all of that. I mean, completely. He's a unicorn. That dude that they talk about, like he he believes in God. He's fearful. He loves his wife, his kids. All the stuff they normally say. That's this nigga in public. He is an actual living unicorn. But guess what? She's throwing all that to the wayside. And the reason she's throwing it all to the wayside is because in her interviews, in her discussions, she's not talking about any of the benefits that she has, that this man has brought her. She's only talking about what she could have done on her own, which we all know would have been nothing. We wouldn't have known her. She'd be in some restaurant cooking if she was even a good cook. She would not be this man's wife. We wouldn't even know her name. We wouldn't even know how she looks. We might have seen her on somebody's Instagram page because she tossed it up one night, kind of thing. That's the closest she would get to any kind of stardom or fame. It's just not there. The only reason that anybody pays her any attention is him, but she's actually bashing the foundation of their relationship. That's what the crazy part is. She's literally saying what I could have did by myself is better than what I got right now. That's like me winning the $1 billion lottery and saying, you know what? If I played quick pick the week before, I would have been better off. That's a slap to the face, man. That's a slap to the face of Steph. It's a slap to the face of these hoes that want a Steph. That's a slap to the face of the men who actually go out of their way to provide for their women. She's just disrespecting people on all levels.
I'm gonna say I got to agree with you on that, brother. I got to agree. And I'm gonna say shout out to Black Rule Strike. He said Steph married her during the time in his life when he could have dated and smashed every high grade, I'm gonna say piece of tail in the entire sports and entertainment business.
Listen, the amount of booty that Steph deferred would have kept all of the incels that exist on the planet right now happy for the rest of their life. He defers so much. Man, listen. And she's still sitting up there like it's not good enough. He didn't do enough. Are you insane, lady? This is crazy, man.
Now, I'm gonna say shout out to Floyd Thomas, who also says he said I look at Ayesha OnlyFans, and I do believe Truth Teller has a point. If it wasn't for the fact that she was married to Steph Curry, yeah, we probably not gonna know who she is. At best, maybe she becomes an Instagram model. Maybe she does hit the OnlyFans. I'm pretty sure, based on the type of attention she seems to want to have, that would all have happened. Now, I'm going to take a quick break, y'all, because I did not acknowledge the Cash Apps yesterday. And I do apologize about that. I was so into the conversation, I didn't even focus on the Cash Apps yesterday. And y'all, I can't disrespect the money. Y'all should understand that. I cannot be disrespectful to the people who financially contribute to this channel, because I cannot do things the same way without y'all. So shout out to my main man Joe's. Shout out to you, brother. I see you in the chat. He hit me with the $10 Cash App yesterday. Appreciate it. He just said salute, but thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Also, we got Andrew Baker. We done seen him in the chat, whole name, so we know he good. He said another great show, and he dropped $10 as well. So I definitely appreciate that. And last but definitely not least, my main man, Roastmaster One, came through. He said, great content, bro. Drop that $50.57. So shout out to Trail Bentley for the Trail Bentley tax. But Roastmaster One came through with the Finball, y'all. Okay? The 50. Okay, I can't say Finball. That's really like a 5. He dropped 50 on me yesterday. That just made it a lovely day, man. That made it a lovely day. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you and those other two brothers. Y'all made my world just a little bit better yesterday. appreciate you big time. Appreciate you big time. Real talk, y'all. Real talk. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And since we own Cash Apps, let me also say shout out to Afro National who dropped $10.57 today. Okay. Brother, whatever you was trying to say in the message, all I got was a period. Now maybe that's all you was saying. Period. But shout out to you for the $10.57. So shout out to you for the Trail Bentley tax as well. And my main man, Jay Bones, is in the building. He dropped 5 on it. Appreciate you, Jay Bones. Just saying, what's up, Roger? And what's up, my brother? What's up? Appreciate the support big time. Real talk. Okay, so now that we, quote unquote, got that out the way, I gotta say, man, truth telling, you're making some real great points here, brother. You're making some real great points. And when you look at who Steph Curry is, you know what? He is that unicorn. When they say they want a tall man, Steph is tall. Okay, they said,
Yep.
I want a man who's God-fearing. Steph actually a Christian.
Yep. Practicing too. Practicing.
Yeah. They say, I want a rich man. Steph got a bag. Real talk. I want a man who gonna treat me right. Y'all, look at that man's demeanor. Okay. Look at that man's demeanor. You can be proud of him, but you also look at him and say, yeah, he can date my daughter. I know he ain't gonna do nothing to her.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, pretty much.
And
I'm like, oh, you brought him home? Okay. You brought him home? Okay. When y'all planning to get married? What's good when this is gonna happen?
Exactly. That's the type of brother, because I'm not saying it as an insult. I'm saying he the type of brother that make a father want to say, hey, would you please marry my daughter?
Yeah. I'll drive y'all to the courthouse tomorrow myself. We don't even need a ceremony. Let's just get this popping.
Yeah. And I'm not even saying he got to be rich. He just come off that type of way.
Pretty much.
Yeah, bro. You know what you really should do instead of dating my daughter? Y'all should just go and get married and win.
That's it. Just go ahead and do it. Please get my daughter off these streets, sir. Please. I don't want her to be damaged.
Yeah, he just that type of dude at the end of the day. He just that type
really
of dude.
Is.
Clean cut.
Not only that, I don't know if anybody's been to his Instagram. It ain't nothing but him and his kids on it. She ain't even on it most of the time. That's his Instagram.
I mean, look at that. Look at that. Okay. Look at God. Look at
Yes, exactly.
All right, let me read this real quick. Shout out to Debonair brother. He says, one Rogerism that is relevant is the one about white supremacy conditioned all members of society to hold contempt for respectable black men, masculinity / leadership. Black men are obfuscating with pimp talk and checking hoes. Great point out. I'm gonna say that was great to point that out, y'all. Because I do believe Steph is doing what he's supposed to do, but even though I'm the type of guy who says, and I got this off my parents, where y'all mess up, that's where we gonna get y'all, because they was teaching us a lesson about handling stuff at home versus handling stuff in the streets. Okay, and I have a sibling who got a rough one, y'all. We went out to Six Flags. Whoo! They was talking crazy in the parking lot, and I'm just gonna say it went down in the parking lot.
Yeah, I've been there too.
And I
she ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
You think she ain't gonna do it, but mama.
Yeah. She effed around and found out. You know what I'm saying? And I told y'all I was walking. It probably was around the time we had that car accident. We was walking somewhere. I'm in the neighborhood. My mama got me on the corner. Niggas came to school like, wasn't that you out there? Nigga, that wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just lie. That wasn't me. I wasn't there.
So I'm gonna say that taught me a lesson, bro. That taught me a lesson. Stay out to if you don't act the fool, you do that at the crib. So everybody got to see it. Because it can leak to the school system, and that ain't no fun. Real talk. So yeah, I mean, Steph just looks like a good, cool, honorable dude at the end of the day. Now the fact that he's a babyface assassin don't hurt none. The fact that he rich, I ain't wouldn't have no problem with that. So I'm gonna say, I do think she has grown some, and I got, I gotta be respectful about what you saying. She was putting a lot out there about what she has to go through, and she wasn't acknowledging her married life the way she should, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this, because I don't even want to say the platform's name. The platform was clearly set up to be that way. Okay.
Yes.
I don't like to take shots at other people with their platform, because I understand people just out here trying to make money. But when you talk about stereotypical feminism, where people are just getting all out of control, that platform definitely had enough that I saw. And this episode was like 1 hour, 4 minutes, and some change. I saw enough in this particular episode that this is a platform who wants to be feminism central. That's what I picked up from that. So,
but I can't put it on them, the platform per se, because there's a couple of words she could have used strategically placed as she was answering this. And most people do it when they're about to say something they know might offend or might disrespect the family. Her priority is the respect of her family. I don't give a good goddamn what's happening. She could be falling from an airplane. Listen, I don't want to fall on my face because they got to bury me and I don't want my family to look bad. I'm going to flip over and land on the ground. I mean, that's just how it has to be when you're in her position. She could have easily said before she went into that, I love my husband and my kids now, but when I was younger, I had no plans to be a mother and a wife, right? I was focused on, and go through her whole kit and caboodle. That's what I was saying in the chat. She ain't make mention of how she feels about her current status. And it seems to me, based on her history, she don't like where she's at as far as being a wife and a mother. She thinks it's very restrictive and it's holding her back. Even though, as far as she's gotten to this point, is because of him. I do truly believe she thinks she could have gotten a lot further without him. I really think that. That's the way she comes off.
I must say, the way she talks, I'm not going to say she truly believes that, but I think she wants to believe that.
She wants to.
You know how you know something ain't real, but you want to believe
it. She hasn't fully divulged into the fantasy. She's like, you know what? I want to believe it, so I'm going to just be like this.
Michael Jordan, I want to believe I can take it now. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna lie, me too.
I want to believe I can take it.
I can DM up. I can stop the fadeaway at least once. I can. I definitely can.
All right, but we got my bad, y'all. I ain't mean to even keep you waiting this long. We got Mount Ungrateful in the building, so let me turn it over to him real quick.
Damn, Mount Ungrateful.
Hey, what's going on? Happy Friday. I had to choose this one because I missing out of that picture is Remy Ma. Although we could have used Gabrielle Union as part of that, but I have Michelle Obama. You know why I have Michelle Obama? Because the way how she's sitting up there just dissing her husband, who was the president of the free world. Then you had Jada Pinkett, entanglements and everything else, admitting in that right in front of his husband, Will Smith. And now you got Ayesha Curry. And first of all, I think she's just being real. She's just airing her grievance out right now. She's being real that she kind of wishes that she was, she wishes she was in the streets right now, having a good time, hanging out with her girls and everything else, just, flirt with men and everything else, but not really getting into them and everything. She wish she was part of that culture and everything else. And she's been listening to a lot of the sisterhood talking points and everything else and taking them and everything. She's just being who she is who she is. She wishes that she was part of that of that reality and everything. I am a little disappointed with Steph Curry on this. That she's allowing her to say some of the things on this platform and basically taking pictures with Drake wearing something like a two-piece outfit, with Drake and everything else. I mean, that to me is a sign of disrespectful and everything else. She should be lucky that she is with Steph Curry. But I'm also wondering about Steph Curry because even though he's a top five, to me, he's a top five all-time great NBA basketball player. I don't know how he could take this. I don't know how long he's going to take this type of take this kind of disrespect that he's. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, she says she needs to be careful what she say, but at the same time, she is saying it, and she's going what I call a 10-year postpartum depression. She wishes that she was in the streets. She wishes that she could have hung up with some of these ladies and everything else and meet all these celebrities, posting herself on Instagram and all that type of stuff. OnlyFans. She, in some ways, I kind of think she kind of wishes that Steph Curry was Future, believe it or not. I mean, and shout out to Steph and everything else from holding his tongue out, but I'm still disappointed that, he's taking all this. And I mean, good thing that, he's not an NFL player, because if he was an NFL player, you would be hearing guys like Richard Sherman and Tony Gonzalez saying, yeah, he's a 9-time all NBA, all-star, but he doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he would have been just like in a situation that Russell Wilson is in right now. So right now, Ayesha Curry is just being who she really is. She wishes that she was in that type of reality, single in the streets, posting Instagrams, maybe doing a little bit of OnlyFans and everything else. She has a little bit of, because she sees it, because she looks at herself. She said, look, I'm a light-skinned lady with Jamaican, Caribbean background from Canada and everything else. I mean, I could have done all that type of stuff, but I wasn't allowed to because I grew up in a strict Christian family and everything. But I wish I was like that. So she's just telling the truth who she really wanted to be in the first place. So I'm gonna land my plane right there.
All right, before you say it, Devin, her brother, can you do me a favor? Because you commented the name of that podcast, and I didn't want to say this, so it'd be extra obvious post. But could you just erase that, please? Because I deliberately didn't say the name of that podcast. Make people work for it a little bit sometimes. That whole little setup is I believe is very insulting to me and God himself. That's how I look at that. So yeah, that's just not a good place to be. And I hope I probably will have to, but even for content purposes, I hope I ain't got to go back and look at that ever again. And that's just real talk. You know what I'm saying? It's just not a place I'm going to promote anybody should go to at all.
It's like it was that painful.
Yeah.
Goddamn, Roger.
If I time him out or something or whatever, I could have just did it, but it would have erased all the other stuff he said. So I'm just saying that one little comment, could you just personally do it yourself and just eliminate the name? I don't even want that associated in my chat. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Lord have mercy. But you was about to say something true, so go ahead and say, and then I want to read something that Black Hoover said.
I was just gonna say that's her ego is built on that colorism thing that our women have. They think that black men think like this, right? Light skinned, light eyes, blah blah blah. It's actually really them, because them are the niggas that's always popular, right? And I'm light skinned myself, so I can't. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I don't know. It is the case.
Off of it.
I don't got the light eyes, but light skin, light eyes usually gives you a better swing when it comes to black women. And we know why, we don't have to go into that. But they also think that's how we think as well. And we got to keep telling them, man, I ain't never seen a black man say, I can't mess with that pretty dark skinned girl. She's just too dark. I ain't never heard a dude say that. So y'all go ahead with it.
I do think there's a little bit of colorism in this situation that, just look at her. I mean, she feels like she's pretty. I mean, when she sees herself, she kind of thinks that, if I were to if I was single and everything else, oh my goodness, every athlete right now would be just dropping on their knees, kissing my feet and everything else. I probably would have got myself a future.
That's
other.
Well, the thing is that colorism is in her own mind, though. It's not. It don't apply to me. And then you know what? You probably right. And the crazy part about how you probably right is even Future ain't got no wife.
Yeah,
this nigga is unmarried as can be.
Yeah.
So to even think she could get a quote unquote Future who ain't married to nobody is dumb as I don't know what. But I think you on point. I'm gonna say shout out to Black Rule Strikes. He says truth teller making an excellent point that usually a woman will go above board with saying how happy and blessed they are, and they would also say that she wishes other young women would do the same. And she just not there, y'all. I'm gonna just say she just not there because I did say it was a tough listen, and she does have these imagined slights going on in her head because at the end of the day, you're a nobody. And becoming a somebody is a lot of hard work, y'all. People have said, I think Kevin Hart was the person who said it last that I heard on the public area. He said it took me 15 years to become an overnight sensation. 15 years to become an overnight sensation. Who would she be if it wasn't for Steph? I honestly think she would not have a name unless she was showing her body off. Because when I think about all the other women, who just out here like that, and I don't really be learning their names because I don't care about their names. They're not important people to me, so I don't even give them the respect to even really learning what their names are. But it be porn stars, it be women who be half naked on Instagram, women who be selling themselves. They may not be on the street selling themselves, but they selling themselves. These young ladies ain't coming up in the television world and things like that. And then even if you think about that, based on stuff that said, they doing the same thing in that world too. I respect the woman who builds her reputation based on work, not one who builds her reputation based on sex. I mean, I respect work. I'm a man. I have to look at another man. I respect his work. If you ain't willing to do no work and you just gonna you just gonna sleep with somebody to get to the top, what respect am I supposed to have? You know how to have sex? That don't sound all that big. It don't sound impressive to me that a woman knows how to have sex. I just kind of expect women to know how to have sex. So that don't mean nothing to me when women do all this stuff. Now, I'm not saying Ayesha Curry couldn't have made it herself, but if you want me to respect you for making it yourself, then that's what you should have did. Trade that lifestyle you got and come do it like me. Come get it out the mud, as they say. But if you don't get it out the mud, why you steady bringing it up and why you talking about it? So I don't think she was doing the best as far as being a good representative for a wife, but I do recognize this is Steph's problems. I see some improvement. I will say that. I do see some improvement. She's not as bad as she used to be. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because she cost that man a ring, in my opinion, and I'm pretty much going to die with that one, y'all. I think she cost Steph a ring. Y'all ain't never seen somebody collapse and it was up 3-1 in the finals. It never happened before she started talking too much crazy about what the referees was doing. And I can totally understand if I'm an NBA player, how this is going to be a big issue for me. Not for her.
And yeah.
For me.
Yeah. I thought that when you mentioned it earlier, I remembered, I thought that was crazy. Like, okay, you have a job, right? Your boss is acting up. You want your wife to get on the loudspeaker at work and take shots at your boss, and then you got to go back into work the next day. Like, how does this play out in her head that this is going to work out and look good? She wasn't thinking about Steph, honestly. She wasn't thinking about how it was going to make the family look, how it was going to make him look, how the team's going to look. She was just saying, hey, I'm saying it because I want to say it. She has that feminist, I don't need no man streak flowing, and I don't think he's going to be able to kill that. Because it's been happening too long. How long they been married, man? She's in her 30s now. Before blink of an eye, she's gonna be in her 40s. It'll be 20 years. This ain't going away, man. She ain't getting therapy. She likes who she is. So good luck to Steph. I understand he signed up for this contract, so he gonna have to live it out. He doesn't seem like the type of dude that'll divorce her, so she's gonna have to divorce him. Good luck to him. I hope he learns a lesson from this, at least. And, I hope he continues to be successful and not get embarrassed publicly. Good luck, my man.
Well, we'll see. Well, if he does divorce her, it's going to cost him about $50 million, between 50 and.
He don't care.
Let's not wish no divorce on Steph.
Yeah, let's not wish divorce. Yeah. I ain't gonna say.
I don't wish that at all. I don't wish.
She's not going to divorce him either. Just so you understand, she's like a Michelle Obama. She's stuck with this nigga forever.
Yeah, because what's she gonna go to get an improvement? You already with Steph Curry. How you gonna? What man
4
are
kids.
you gonna get that's gonna make this look right?
No. And just like his father, because remember, his parents divorced. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm sure his daddy don't got no problems, and he old now. By the way, my first basketball card was his father. I ain't gonna say his name. My first basketball card as a kid was his father. So I give props to the Curry family, but
I'm gonna say F his father. Real talk, y'all. Why? Because I used to play video games. We had basketball tournaments all the time. Niggas would be picking up. I'm going to say his name because, he cool. Dale Curry calls me all types of fits. Okay? But we took our tournament seriously. Dale Curry was calling me all types of fits. Okay? So
he was. He sleep with Dale. Come on now.
He done cost me championships in our tournaments we used to play. Dale was a problem. That's what I'm gonna say. Dale was a problem.
Like I said, Steph, despite his greatness, is lucky he's not playing in the National Football League and he's not married to a woman like Sierra. Because, oh my God, can you imagine him and Sierra to marry in the National Football League, and every time she's going on podcast, she's just, everybody knows you're lame and all that, but she's going up there even dogging him even more than everything else.
Sierra didn't dog her husband. She didn't. So
she took a nice little shot on him on the Breakfast Club.
What? Yeah, let's rein it back in because we got Kevin 3905, over here waiting in the wings. So I want to get him in because y'all see I'm doing a much better job about getting people in a whole lot quicker. I'm gonna say real quick, shout out to Better You. He say, "Dang, bro, what you got against Dale? I ain't really got nothing against Dale." But I played tournaments heavy when I was a young man, bro. And we played these basketball tournaments regularly. And Dale was causing me all types of fits, man. Real talk. So, Dale was a problem for me. I got respect for his father.
They don't know Dale. They
jumper too. I have
they don't respect Dale. That's what the problem is.
Yeah, But shout out to Dale Curry though. Shout out to Dale Curry. You cost me the rings. You know what I'm saying? You cost me some rings, but shout out to Dale Curry. But Kevin 3905, you got it, my brother.
What's up, fellas? First of all, you got to learn how to hit the reset button and play that game over with or you can get them rings. That's the first thing you got to do. All right.
Get up and flip the table on them. Flip the table.
Hey, look. Second, you gonna give LeBron his credit for coming back from 3-1. It wasn't her. It was LeBron, bro. You gonna stop this madness. Bro. I appreciate this woman for being honest. it shows that I think a couple things are true here. If you're a savant of any kind at a young age, you shouldn't be thinking about getting married until you have reached your pinnacle. You know, like if Steph was getting married now to a younger Ayesha, I think he will be able to have some gravitas over her to kind of carry that situation through where this kind of stuff wouldn't be happening. But since they're the same age, she thinks she's his equal. Um, these women can't be satisfied. You have to give them a job. They have to have things to do. You have to keep them busy. She ain't got enough to do. She bored. She wants some attention. Attention is like air to them. They got to have it, bro. They got to have it. So she just wants some attention. She's a typical chick. She's an average looking woman. The screen just makes her look better than what she really looks like. She's an average looking woman in an exceptional situation. And she's just, she's just acting like a child, man. I'm not even really mad at the chick. She just wants some attention. That's all it is, man. But we can learn as men from this, like how to move in our early formidable years when we're making good money. Man, pause up on the get married. Finish doing what you got to do before you get married, man. But that's about it. But yeah, you gonna give LeBron some respect. Stop that, bro. Stop that.
Okay, it ain't like I said the truth that she was the MVP of that tournament, but it's cool.
That was low. That was low. That was low.
Real talk. She should have been finals MVP that year.
We appreciate her. We appreciate
her. She's good for something, right?
I'm saying, man, if you go back and check the record, she caused a collapse after that stuff got said. There was a total turnaround in Steph's game. He was not Steph for real.
Y'all ain't giving this woman enough credit. She is a part of LeBron's legacy. She's a part of the greatest player ever's legacy. Yes, we appreciate her, brother. I ain't gonna get on her like I get on the rest of these women around here. I appreciate her. She came through in the clutch. Yes, sir.
I mean, you can give her that. You can give her that. I don't know about greatest player. I'm still waiting on LeBron to win his 5th ring. That's what I'm still waiting on. But back on subject though. Back on subject. I'm tired of waiting on LeBron's 5th ring. Back on subject though. Maybe she don't have enough to do. I think that's a plausible thing. Maybe she just don't have enough to do because she is living a fantasy lifestyle. And I will say this, I gotta agree with what you said, True Teller, too, because when it comes down to it, she is living in the way that most other women want to live. She was able to actually get the job done, and she is technically married to this unicorn that black women say they want, but it ain't but one Steph Curry out there, And to get another man in his position, ain't too many of them brothers out there, period. You got fame, you got money, you able to have certain levels of influence. And I'm going to say this. If you really believed you was all that, you would just go your own way. I don't even understand why you got to sign deals with other companies and things like that. You already got fame. But, hey, I get it. People do certain things for money, so I ain't tripping about it. But I would say maybe an indicator. If a woman is young and she says she doesn't see herself as a wife and a mother, that may just be a good indicator that she's not going to be a great fit for a marriage, because I think Ayesha Curry's real problem is what has been said before multiple times by multiple people. She's just jealous. That's it. Steph just bigger and better than her. When it comes to career and notoriety, he's just better than her. And I think,
but let's not fool ourselves, Roger.
What's that?
Yeah.
I was saying, this is not fool ourselves. She didn't tell him all of that when they first got together. She was trying to fit into that role of somebody he could marry. He believed her. They got married, and she's been riding that marriage roller coaster ever since. She's just talking smack now because she is jealous of him. What? She doesn't think she can do better without him. Just like you said, she wants to believe.
She want to believe.
She want to believe.
Yeah. But I just want to say this real quick. I think it's part of the issue because we as men, we do stuff to highlight our wives and people accept it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. Well, if it wasn't for my wife, she allowed me to do this. And she believes the public doesn't believe that about her. We don't look at Steph Curry and say he wouldn't have made it without Ayesha. And she understands the public is looking at her in that way. So Steph can try to prop her up, which he has done. He's done a great job of trying to make her the star she wants to be. But I think she just knows in the back of her mind, these people don't believe I'm as great as Steph makes me out to be. And I think that's a personal issue that she got to correct herself. And that ain't Steph's fault. That's what happens when you marry a great man. You know, he's going to shine at the end of the day. But you should be cool with your husband shining. You shouldn't have needed all that shine. And if you're not going to shine so you can have a man play the support role with you, because this is a major issue about women. They don't want to shine and then let the husband play the support role. They want to shine, but then you got to shine too as a man. And if you don't shine enough as a man, now I got to leave you and give me somebody else that I think is going to shine just as bright as I am. But let you shine too much, now it ain't right. See, they got to make their mind up about what they want, you know, which is one of the reasons I've said in the past, I would marry a woman who makes more than me, or she's more significant in the public's eyes than me. Not because I can't handle it, because she can't handle it. It's a waste of my time. You know, women ain't trying to do that yet. So it is what it is. But let me get T'Challa in the building. Let me get him the mic. T'Challa, you got it.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me up, Roger. I was gonna just kind of add to your point real quick. Just understand that there are women who are black women, by the way, who are great women. Viola Davis and her husband, excellent example of an outstanding couple that's doing great and amazing things. The Washingtons, that's Denzel and Pauletta. And then, of course, one of my favorites, Angela Bassett. She's married to Courtney Vance. And, you don't really hear too much out of him or her. And they're doing just fine. So there's people who get it. The folks who get it. And what's supposed to be happening is people like the Currys, or at least Ayesha Curry, because we don't have any issue with Stephen. Stephen's doing what he's supposed to do. He's shining. He's playing his ball. He's taking care of his family, loving his wife, taking care of his kids, doing all the stuff he's supposed to do. He's even uplifted his kid. I mean, not his kids, but his wife, to the extent that she has her own little empire. And it's crazy because she's still not happy. And I'm going to tell you something else, too. You know what's messed up is that folks, men, especially black men, used to look at Ayesha as like basically the one of the standard women that we needed to have as far as when we're looking at black women, right? I assume she's black, right? She is black, right?
Yeah, she's black.
She's kind of light, but she's black. Okay. Yeah. So the thing is that remember how we used to big her up? Same thing with Jada, y'all got to stop. Even I like Michelle Obama, but they got to stop doing this thing where they're denigrating these high level men in public. They got to stop doing this nonsense because it's making them look crazy. And these men can't get divorced because now they're going to get condemned for divorcing them, right? So they're stuck. It's just all of this stuff that needs to be worked out in therapy. Let's level set the conversation a bit here. William Jefferson Clinton openly cheated on his wife numerous times. I remember in the 1990s when he was the president, and even after he became president, or when he was done with his presidency, scandal after scandal after scandal, Hillary Clinton won't say a bad word about her husband. She's still with him to this day. When at the height of that Monica Lewinsky nonsense, she said, "Hey, this is our issue, our problem. We're going to work this out as a family." She stood by her. She stood by him like 100 toes down on Bill Clinton. Like, and I'm not saying you gotta be like that. You gotta like it. Hell, you don't even hear a peep out of Melania, right? As bad as we criticize Trump for his craziness, but Melania, she don't say nothing. Like, what is going on? It's like some women get it and some women don't. And it's looking bad, at least on our side, as far as black women. And this is what dudes are thinking about when they're looking at marriage. I think one of the gentlemen had a good point as it relates to, look, if you up and coming and you're a prodigy, just hold off for a little bit. Hold off, get some shine, get to where you're supposed to be, and then get a woman who's really going to appreciate what it is you're doing and not try to upstage you. Because that's what it's looking like here. But anyway, I'll go ahead and land right there.
Now, I do think you should get married young, because I think marriage is always the gamble, and she needs to gamble too. You know, I don't like the idea of men who already got everything in order, where the woman's not taking any gamble. I'd rather you be with him before he becomes who he is, because once he's already who he is, she not taking no gamble. And I don't want to protect women from no gamble. Marriage should be a gamble. We gonna gamble equally, or I can't gamble with you. That's me. We go. Now, I'm not saying I'm a frown upon any man who gets with a woman who's younger that's already got stuff set. But for me, there's going to be certain things she can't have access to because I already did it without you. You're going to pay a penalty for not building it with me. And that's real talk. Now, when men get to that part, then I can promote more that men get with a woman. But right now, men don't have an idea of she should pay a penalty for not being there. And that's real talk. Everybody could have been there. She decided not to be. There's going to be a penalty paid. And you ain't getting what you think you're going to get just because I got it. And that's real talk to me.
Well, to that penalty actually can be paid even if you get married young. There still needs to be a penalty for all this nonsense. Like they really can't. They're pretty much stuck with each other, right? So she can't leave and he can't leave. And if
he can leave. He can leave.
Well,
he wouldn't. So men.
He can't do it right now.
When he can do it right now. I mean, let's put it this way. Let's say she takes half. Honestly, it'd be in his best bet to do it now, but I do not suggest married men get divorced unless that's the decision they want to make, right? If you're in marriage, you're in marriage. But if he got divorced right now and she took half, he's still got another few years in the league and all of the other money he's going to make. He'll be fine. She's going to be the one that's going to have the problem.
Yeah.
So a lot of men get hurt by divorce because they don't prepare for the losses that they'll have to take, right? That's normally what it is. You think I'm with her, I'm gonna be with her forever. What's mine is hers, what's hers is mine, when she's thinking the opposite. So you go into it, you got everything on the table, she got everything tucked under the table, she taking half your stuff off the table, and she taking all of what's under the table with her, and you sitting there with nothing. So that's the problem with divorce, because men don't plan to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you gotta have that plan in the back pocket.
And you back at your mama's house.
Well, in 2025, you got to do the paperwork up front, which means you got to protect yourself up front. Whether you get married older or young, it doesn't really matter. Just at this point, women got to get skin in the game too. They got to have the same skin in the game that the men do.
And older, so if you're older and you're getting married, that's a significantly different. Yeah, that's a different situation. That's a different couple. A couple that gets married older, if the guy is older and the woman's not, or if the woman's older and the guy's not, it's a completely different kind of couple than two young people getting married. And I agree. There's no reason why women need to. Come on, man. We know what they mean when they say find themselves. Listen. If you turn 18 and you have a boyfriend and your goal is not to get married, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to put that in a hoish category. Because what are you trying to do out here? You just getting in these relationships to do what exactly? And if you're just trying to have fun and enjoy yourself, that's a hoe.
All right. Now, my thing is, now I want to get back on track a little bit. I do think she's performing better. I'm gonna say that. I do think she's performing better than what she was performing. You know, she's representing her family a little bit better. I ain't saying she did a good job. I'm just saying it better than what it used to be. Okay.
You said she improved.
I'm gonna tell you, it was a tough lesson. It really was. And then, this whole thing about, she was going into like basically saying a message that people be trying to hold her back. And I'm sitting there like, who the heck tried to hold you back? You done been married to this NBA player since she was 22 years old. You done literally said you was doing your own little thing as if she was doing her own social media, and television networks came to you. Where the heck was you getting held back?
That was painful, Roger. I ain't gonna lie. When she said that, I had to what does she mean? Well, when I heard her say that, my translation of being held back is I can't do what I want to do because I'm Steph Curry's wife. That's what translated to me. That's what she means when she's saying held back, meaning she can't make the decisions she wants, whether they're good or bad, because she's now married and has kids. She has a family. And that's how women look at it. When you have a family, well, I have to do these things for my family. Suddenly, it's not, I'm good because I'm willing to do these things for my family. The fact that I have to do these things for my family means I'm not free and I'm subjugated. That's how they translate it. And that's how I took it, is what she's saying when she said that.
I think, listen, despite feminism, I still think there is a majority of women that would still be grateful to be in a position that Ayesha Curry is in.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
my wife would divorce me right now. My wife would divorce me right now.
I don't think they would be grateful. I think they desire it.
My girlfriend would break up with me in a heartbeat just to be in Ayesha Curry's
And you couldn't even be mad at her. You just be like, good job, baby. All right, have a good life.
I want to say, hold on real quick. I want to say I totally disagree with that, because when you actually look at it, Steph Curry just picked Steph Curry and Ayesha was just two random people. These two random people got together. Steph Curry became this man of this top level man. At the end of the day, the random chick he got with don't seem to be all that grateful. So at the end of the day, if most women would be grateful, I believe the one he picked would have been grateful.
Yeah,
but she's not.
Roger. She must have known that Steph Curry was the product of an NBA family. Let's not get too.
No, she said she thought he was going to be a coach, is what she said.
Yeah, but she must have known. She must have known that this guy came from the NBA.
Yeah, but nobody knew he was going to be good. Even his father didn't know he was going to be good.
He had NBA ties, NBA money, though. Let's not get too carried away.
There's a lot of kids that have that don't amount to a Steph Curry. He's exceptional.
No, that's not true.
Michael Jordan's kids.
Yeah,
Michael Jordan got two sons.
Well, we're not saying that she don't know he come from some money. If they was in the same area to go to the same school, obviously some money was involved, because Dale Curry ain't putting his kids in no trash school. So we know everybody got a little bit of money. But the thing is, she don't know that he's going to become Steph Curry. That's right. So that's a little bit different. And I'm just saying, the fact that she's not grateful about it, and she should have been in a place where it had been easier to get a top level man because of the environment she was around. But at the end of the day, why ain't she grateful? I mean, you still want to live a certain level of life, and you actually got it. And you got it the first time. She said she messed with this dude at 19 years old. That was her first serious boyfriend, and she already won. You got to be grateful for something like that, or
she went out the gate
with a side eye.
Yeah,
she went out the gate, Roger. She took a step into the pool, and now she's an Olympic swimmer. She ain't even do laps, Roger. She won.
I'm saying, right? Yeah. She ain't went through no big heartbreak or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Everything just fell in her lap. So I'm saying that might be why it's harder for her to be grateful, because she hasn't gone through any quote unquote struggle. She don't have the stories that other women have about how they had to go through this man, that man, and that man in order for her to get somebody who truly loves her. She ain't had none of them problems, bro. Her lifestyle has been fantastic. Now I'm not saying I'm giving people an excuse that if they live a fantastic lifestyle that they shouldn't be grateful. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, based on what she said, bro, this woman ain't never really had a problem.
Well, Roger, isn't that what women always talk about? They don't want all the struggle and the issues and the problems. And you hear them talk about that all the time. There's hundreds of commentary. There's hundreds of channels right now giving commentary about the struggle. Talking about they don't even want it, and yet she didn't have that, and here she is. Like it's just. I mean, look, these women got to tighten up, because the thing is that. Because he's too big, he has some serious choices he has to make. But I couldn't be with a woman. I couldn't be with a woman that's openly disrespectful like that.
Not a chance.
And even if I were that big, because here's the thing: people don't see that there's a punishment associated with it. That's the issue and the problem. The women don't see it. They're like, well, she gets to say all these things, and Obama, he's still gonna stay married to her. Steph's gonna stay married. Will Smith's gonna stay married. But that's why I wanted to kind of emphasize the obverse, which is Denzel and Pauletta Washington, right? Viola Davis and her husband, Angela Bassett.
Real quick, y'all. Real quick. Let me read this, and let me let Brad get the opening statement because y'all actually cut him off, but he did jump in before I introduced him, so that's kind of on him. But Trust did say black women love having things to complain about. It is directly related to their happiness, and I'm gonna say, based on what she told us, Aisha don't have nothing to complain about. Everything was a smooth transition for her. So I mean, it does come off as a little ungrateful. But Brad, make a good opening statement, and then let's let Santana get in right behind him.
Yeah, thank you for letting me on. Look, I think Steph Curry, as great of a player as he is, first ballot Hall of Famer, I think he would have been better off, in my opinion, to just go the Derek Jeter route. Just anytime when you deal with a woman, if things don't end up going right, just send them gifts, send them congrats, send them thanks for the time that we had together, and then just move on. It is so crazy how these athletes are just so naive about just women in general, what they can do, what the pros and cons are of being in a relationship with a woman. Steph Curry is literally the epitome of just everything that you would want from an athlete. He's respectful. He's he's the greatest 3-point shooter the league has ever seen. He's arguably a top 10 player of all time. And these women are just, well, Ayesha Curry specifically, just not grateful, not appreciative. It's not the first time that she disrespected him like that. And yet she thinks that she has more value than Steph, or at least on equal terms to Steph. And clearly Steph is not setting her up straight and being like, yo, like, I'm the man, like, shut the hell up, be grateful that you're in my life. I can get better looking chicks than you, but clearly Steph doesn't do that. No, I don't think he ever will in the future. So if I'm Steph Curry, I would just be like, hey, thank you for all these years. You've been a huge part of my life, but I think it's best if we go our separate ways. But is he going to do that? I don't think so. And I just think that the disrespect that Ayesha is showing to Steph right now, I don't think it's going to be the last one, because Steph just doesn't seem like the type of person to just lay one out and be like, yo, like, don't disrespect my name. I've built a legacy. Be grateful that you're on this ride with me, and be happy that you're my main chick. But he's not gonna do that. No other pro athletes are really gonna do that. The money, the fame, the amount of chicks that are coming their way. That's it. And a lot of pro athletes.
I gotta slow you down because you got past your 2 minutes. I disagree with some of what you said, but I got two other guys. I'm gonna try to get these folks in, y'all. I'm trying to get everybody in legitimately when they come up. I ain't trying to have nobody waiting 5-10 minutes no more. So we gonna conversation gonna open back up. You can get some more in because I got some stuff I want to say about what you said, but I'm a chill and we're gonna give it to Santana. 2 minutes, y'all. 2 minute opening statements, y'all. 2 minutes.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning to y'all. Far as I'm concerned, this is a non-story, man. This is a non-story. This is just women being women, man. At the end of the day, they got together at a young age. So obviously she don't know herself. He didn't know her. He didn't know himself. They had to grow together, man. Obviously, why would Steph Curry set her straight? He ain't. This is the one woman. This is the only woman he ever been with. This is really a non-story, to be honest. Like, this is how a lot of women think. You know what I'm saying? It's just, she probably having a midlife crisis. She probably felt like she didn't get to do some stuff that she ain't get to do when she was young. But That's a lot of women, and that's a lot of men. I think a lot of people just being too harsh on her, man. Like a lot of women be having these kind of thoughts. Man. This is another story, man. Real talk.
Okay, Jado, you got it.
Hey, what's up, Roger? Fellas on the panel, everybody in chat. You say gang. Man, I'm slightly agreeing with what said Tether is saying. Slightly. But man, we're in 2025, man. We got the internet, cell phones, computers, all this stuff, man. International travel is so easy or whatever. These women are exposed to a lot, man. They are exposed to a lot. And I think the only thing the trust made a comment. I think you highlighted it, Roger. That I think is very pertinent, very important, man. No matter what you do for a woman, what she has access to, she's gonna find a problem somewhere. So this is like, man, this stuff is internal. I see a little bit of I'm not sure, man. I don't know this Ayesha Curry, of course, man. I have to look her in the eye and see her demeanor, how she acts. But I think she might be all right, man. I think her,
Yeah.
I think it's possible, bro, because of the structure. I think her parents are married. Am I correct? Right? I think
Yeah, I
her
believe
parents
so.
are married. And she kind of, I mean, she didn't grow up in it. I think she did part of her growing up in the U.S., but uh, I think she was from Canada, right? So
Yep.
I think it might be a little thing. I don't think, man, a lot of times we think we can do something to, we are the buffer between them and self destruction a lot of times, man. Just us being there, having a husband, a man. We're the buffer between them and self destruction, because their thoughts are going to go wild. They're going to be thinking all types of stuff. They may not verbalize it or make it public like she did, but they are thinking like this. Man. A lot of them are thinking like this.
We
So, but
we,
I
we the
think,
same way.
I think, I think, but I think with her having a growing up in a family, married a father and mother, I think she may be all right. I'm not sure. I can't guarantee that. But hey, man, like, hey, you can give her a million tasks. You can give her a million jobs, man. That don't mean she ain't gonna be thinking and stuff. And that don't mean she gonna. You can D her down, give her the greatest sex she ever had, and that don't mean she ain't gonna be thinking and stuff, man. So they have an internal conflict, man. And a lot of times, you can help it. Like I said, you can be the buffer between her and that conflict. But sometimes they're gonna fall. Hey, they're gonna fall short of it, man. I'll end right there.
Okay, we got some new gentlemen that came up, so let me get them in real quick. We got You Deserve It, Steph is on the mic. You got it, man. Y'all cold blooded.
That's what you get when you marry the buzz down. When you marry the woman that you're supposed to take on a TV tour for the weekend, and you marry her instead of giving her a $50 bill, that's what you get. You know?
What the
I don't feel
fuck?
sorry for him. Number one.
That's crazy, man.
Number one. Number one. They do not operate under the same rules as us normal people. That's number
Oh
one.
my god.
They are celebrities. And number two, he knows that she doesn't deserve the spot that she's in. Sometimes they know that they ain't shit deep down. And you come out of nowhere and you scoop them up, trying to clean them up, right? And they make you suffer for it because she knows she ain't all that. And here you are trying to clean her up. That's because you're worth less than her. So she gonna make you suffer. I think he deserves everything that he's getting. Him, Will Smith, Barry, aka Obama, they all deserve it because they are way superior.
Call him Barry.
They are way superior. And they decide, nah, I'm going to I'm going to dig a hole and bury myself with these hoes. And they get trampled over, they get ran over by these women. Sorry for them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Despite them being men, I don't feel any sympathy for them, man. I'm cold blooded with it, man. Like I said, the same rule that I have for hoes is the same rules that I have for stupid niggas. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Now, Chef is giving reminders out there, so I'm gonna remind y'all. Opening statements are 2 minutes uninterrupted. So,
My bad.
it wasn't just you. There's a couple other people who said something. So y'all let's mute up.
My bad.
Whatever you got to do, let the people make their opening statements. Let's be respectful and let people do what they want to do. Even though, Brad said something I disagree with instantly, but I ain't say nothing. I let it slide. Okay, because it's the opening statement. So let's respect people's opening statements, y'all. And we
he
got
punched me in
Shark
my funny bone when he said Barry. I'm sorry. That made me laugh.
that was funny.
That's
I ain't
all.
gonna even that was hilarious. But I was holding it in. Okay, truth teller almost messed me up though. But let me give it to Shark Sims because he's here, and now we got the God Gold Peter came up too. So Shark, you got it, brother.
Hey, how y'all doing, fellas?
Doing
Happy
well,
Friday
brother.
and all that. I hope y'all have a good weekend. Yeah, I think somebody said earlier that if she known Steph Curry would have been who he was, she wouldn't have messed with him. I think she definitely would have messed with him. The problem is these hoes, like we didn't see Kevin tell them, like, you don't understand what it is being with an extra high value man. They don't they like Jado said, we are their buffer between self-destruction. And like the more and more I listen to this stuff, the more and more I have to agree with the OG hot sauce. You cannot you cannot mess with a female who has electricity. Man, listen.
I'm sorry.
Can't mess with them.
Man.
Can't mess with them. And that's I'm gonna end mine on 1 minute right there. I'm done.
Wow. This is
The
wild.
God Gold Peter. You get to follow that up. Bro.
Hey, look. Here's my opening statement. I can't follow that up, so that's my closing statement. I can't. That's my opening and closing statement.
Yeah, this is stupid.
I just can't. I ain't even accept that.
Oh my gosh.
No, don't make me, Rod.
Well, I guess I'm getting here and say some strong points are being made right now. Some strong points are being made right now.
Hey,
And
hey man, look, man. We gotta give Shark the award of the day for that.
Shark, the finals MVP. The Friday finals MVP.
Shark Sims all day, bro.
Oh,
I gotta bow down, man. I gotta bow down to the greatest.
Well, I'm gonna say those are some great points being made, and sometimes when you get too many things early in life, you're not really appreciative because you ain't really been through no struggle. So I do think that's kind of what's going on, and I just didn't like the interview in itself because to me it was like everything she's saying she was talking as if I'm a single woman, okay, and not a married woman, and I just didn't think she was representing the marriage the way she should have. Let me say real quick, shout out to Chef Mike's Roundtable. He said, at the Rogers Boy Live, I ain't mad if the panel got to recover from that one.
I don't know we can recover. I don't know we can recover from that.
Yeah. Some stuff just take too much of a precedent. And I'm gonna say shout out to Jerome Payne. He said I would listen to this show all day if I could. 24-hour live stream, Roger. Hey, You know what? Maybe one day I'll do a marathon. I'm gonna say shout out to Castanet, man. I done seen some of the stuff that they've been able to do with doing like crazy marathons. Maybe I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll do that one of these days and pull like I don't know if I'm gonna start with a 25 minute. That's hard to do 24 hours. That's
Yeah, that's
but
hard.
maybe I will do a marathon. I did a 10-hour show back in the day, y'all. I did one back in the day. Maybe I'll do one of those again or whatever. But maybe even a 16-hour. I'll think about it. But we'll pull a marathon at some point if people want to do it. We'll
Now,
pull a
Roger,
marathon at
you
some
could
point.
do a you could do a marathon. Just run your shows back to back to back to back. Pick out some of your favorite joints and just run them back to back to back.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
pull
cheating
out
a
the
little bit.
greatest hits. The greatest hits.
That's cheating a little bit, but
The
but no,
honeymoon
maybe
It ain't
I
cheating,
do
you
do
ain't
one though.
trying.
It ain't
Hey,
never a new
Roger.
episode for the honeymooners marathon on New Year's Eve.
You ain't lying.
Yeah.
You are not lying.
Yeah,
We
Yeah.
got reruns for a reason, man.
yeah.
Hey, Roger.
Replay game.
Are we gonna have electricity back?
You can't. I don't think we're gonna be able to have electricity. I think if any ladies happen to show up while we do have electricity, it's gonna be a problem.
A whole problem, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna say,
What are you
man,
talking about? Like, what do you think
if I
about?
can't be with a woman, if I can't be with a woman and have electricity at the same time, this is gonna be problematic. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I done kind of got accustomed to electricity.
Yeah,
You
we got
said this relationship's just not gonna work out. We have two
your
completely
solar
different.
power, bro. We
Hey,
all right.
brother Roger, man. I wanna ask a question, bro. And I agree. I think the degree of appreciation would increase if she actually had to have a struggle. But I still don't know if that would get her like completely right, man. I don't know, man. Because we've seen women that went through some type of struggle and they still don't appreciate nothing, man. So I mean, I think the greater chance is she maybe would appreciate it a little more, man. A lot of times when these women, once they're in that position, they gonna find something to complain about. They gonna find something that's wrong, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I've seen. You know what I mean?
They're perpetual. They're perpetual victims now, man. Like everything victimizes them, and we're living in the mouse utopia. They have everything. We've built and conquered the world for them. It's easy for them, bro. So they don't have nothing to do but get attention and complain. That's it.
Yes.
That's all.
There is
Now,
something that we do need to. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Ronnie.
I'm gonna just say read this from Black Uru real quick. He oh no, you know I read that one. I forgot. I had this turned up. Yeah, I read that one. I just want to make sure I got him in. But go ahead. What you was gonna say?
Well, I was going to say their situation is a little bit different, right, than some of the other stuff that we be seeing in social media and on TV and blah blah blah. They got married. He was 23 and she was 22, right? He just graduated from high school, got into the league. He wasn't the superstar we know and love. They were dating since she was 19 and he was 20. They met in church. They met in the community. They met the right way. They did it the way people of the past are supposed to do it. She wasn't, well, as far as we know, she wasn't ripping and running these streets, right? At least not to the degree some of these ladies are doing it now. So, I mean, the judgment we give it, based on what we see it now, this isn't the same type of couple. He's what? He's going to be 40 in 3 more years. She's going to be 40 in 4 more years. I mean, they're in their mid to late 30s right now.
Yeah.
They've been married, 15 years, 12, 15 years, somewhere around there. It's going to be a good 20 years in a minute for them in the next 5 years. So, I mean, this is pretty much a mature couple that have been married most of the time they've been together, and they got 4 kids. They did it the right way. So we can't really judge it based on how we would judge some of these current relationships we're looking at, where basically people used to be strippers and sex workers, and suddenly they decided to get married and have kids, or they have kids and they have kids from multiple people. That's not what this situation is at all.
Yeah, they pretty much did it. What I would say is about textbook the right way. She met a young
Correct.
man in church, and I'm saying she had to be living some kind of decent life because even though her people was from Canada, when you came over to America, and you ended up going to the same church that they go to. They said something. I believe she said they went to the same school. And once you say same school, now Dale Curry was an NBA player making money. He wasn't no superstar NBA player, but he was a strong bench player, asset to any team that he played on, and he made a nice little home for himself, playing for the Charlotte Hornets. So I'm thinking somewhat in the neighborhood, not like the 3-4 blocks, but you know how they label neighborhoods from like a city level something. You gotta kind of be in this neighborhood 9 times out of 10 if y'all went to the same school, because I believe she said that her people weren't struggling. Is what I'm saying.
Hey, Roger,
Okay.
quick question, Roger. Do this make her a hoe?
No.
How the heck would you even come up with that? Why?
Nah, because I was just hearing. I'm just hearing a couple other guys talking about some man. These hoes, man. You can't never do nothing to these hoes. Like what the hell?
Right. That's why I made the statement about their relationship.
Her. They weren't talking about her.
No, they
Steph
using her as an example to say like, man, these hoes like this. Like, come on, bro.
What they said, no, it was said she's not like these other hoes. She actually got with one guy as a serious boyfriend, and she's ended up married to that guy. She was married by 22.
Roger,
Hoes should be doing that.
Right,
Hoes are not
So she
doing
shouldn't
it.
be.
Somebody just came on here and pretty much saying you can't make these hoes happy, man. Look what
Well,
she
what's happening is she's showing hoish tendencies, right?
This is
So
that's not whole tendencies.
she's showing
How
hoish
is that not
tendencies.
a true statement? How is that not a true statement?
You don't know women. That is not that's not whole tendencies, bro. You don't know women.
No. What he's saying is whole tendency is to not be happy in the marriage that you have when you didn't do all that stuff.
No.
Yes.
No. How is it not a true statement?
No, I don't think he understood the context. See, Ayesha Curry done made a big problem for herself by saying she not getting attention from men the way she thinks she should be getting attention from men. That's how a hoe gonna think. A hoe wants attention. Other women get attention from men because we don't even know they married, if they happen to be married, and most of them ain't married. The thing about her is she's not getting male attention because she's married to somebody men know who her husband is. And because we respect her husband, we're not gonna talk to his wife crazy.
And I'm
so
saying
she's actually getting a good benefit, but she didn't recognize that at a certain point.
And I'm saying, what woman don't want attention?
They all want it.
It's not.
We recognize that.
We're not saying they don't want attention. It's when the lack of attention because of your husband starts to bother you. That's a problem.
And I'm telling you, a lot of women will feel that way. Does that make them hoes?
We didn't say
that's a hoish tendency.
but that is starting to go down the line.
Mentality. It's a hoish mentality.
Okay, so
hold on. This is the thing. To become a hoe, you first must have hoe thoughts.
Okay.
This is somebody saying, I may go down this line. No, you can't become an NBA player until you have thoughts about making it into the league and actually learning how to play basketball on a high level. You can't make it into the NFL unless you're going to play football at a high level. You can't be an engineer unless you take math at a high level. You're going down a particular road. A woman who's already married should not be talking about having an issue with not getting attention from other men. She should be cool with the fact that her husband is so well respected that men won't talk crazy to her.
What's crazy is that this is how a lot of women think. I seen somebody put in the chat saying that these black women, man, the white women have these thoughts when they get married young. I'm pretty sure Steph Curry.
All women do. All women do.
Bro, white women, I ain't got to worry about what. This is the thing. When y'all bring stuff like this up, this tell me you don't want black folks to win. I would much rather we fix our stuff up before anybody else. So who cares what some other group of women are doing?
The only reason I brought up race is because somebody else brought up that the fact that she's a black woman or these is how these black women is. And I'm saying this is how all women is.
What difference does that make?
Here's the question. Here's the question.
Yo, we
here's the question.
We're just talking in general. We're not saying she's a hoe specifically. We're just saying hoe.
Nobody says she's a hoe, by the way.
They say
they did, bro. Y'all
no one said
You're taking everything. You're taking things too technical. We never said she was a hoe.
I'm not. Y'all put it in that realm.
Okay, no, you just not listening because nobody called her a hoe.
All
I
right.
think Santana, you painting a broad brush. Like, is
No, 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 no.
who you talking
Hold on,
about?
Jado. And I don't mean to
Yeah,
cut you off. No, Santana's
yeah.
reacting to a feeling. He's not reacting to something that was said. You're reacting to how you feel right now.
But
Nobody
let
said the
me
lady's a
no
hoe.
somebody. If you go replay this back, the dude that got on here
I,
and pretty much said
I,
these
yeah.
hoes is these hoes is that, bro.
He
That's not a
did
feeling.
say
That's what he
these
said.
hoes is dangerous, and
Let me
that's nothing
ask the
wrong with him saying
question
that
though.
because these hoes are dangerous.
Let me ask the question.
But we're
What?
talking
So
about
what?
Aisha.
What?
This is
So what if we
Hey,
say
can
she's
we,
a hoe?
this is
So what?
crazy.
Bro, you're
fellas?
too technical.
So what? No, no.
No,
No,
fellas,
it's not
y'all.
technical.
So what?
This
So
is what it
what?
sounds like when somebody responding to a feeling instead of what actually got said.
So what
Oh
if a
my
man
god.
said she's a hoe? Now, what promise?
Yeah,
Go say it.
I don't see it as an issue because again, we've already highlighted multiple times this is her only serious boyfriend, and she married and she got married at 22.
Exactly.
She did things the right way. So
Exactly.
why can't we just let that sit where it is?
I mean,
So
Right,
hey,
yeah.
man, hey,
we know
I'm
that's
not
what she
saying
did.
I'm not saying she's a hoe. I'm just asking. So what if we do say she's a hoe?
Well, we don't. Well, I mean, we don't need to go down that road and use her as an example because we know she's not.
I'm not. I'm
We
just
got
Exactly.
asking.
whole
That's all I'm
examples that we
saying.
can
Here's
use on
the
a regular
problem.
basis,
Here's the
but
problem, Raj.
at the
Here's the
end of the
problem,
day, you know
Roger.
what I'm saying? She didn't live in that world.
Here's
This
the
woman
problem,
has
Roger.
had an almost perfect life.
Here's
Of
the
course,
problem, Roger.
everything does not go perfect in life. She was born in Canada. She was up there till she was about in around high school age. Came to America. Obviously, lived in a pretty good neighborhood. If she went to the same school as Steph Curry, and Steph Curry going to a school where his rich NBA daddy sent him to. So this is not a woman going through struggle. And
Roger,
you know,
this is my position. Okay, I mean, we've said, hey, we're not putting her in the position of hoe, right? But we do know that there are whole tendencies, whole behaviors that we
Okay.
acknowledge, and if we say, hey, no, that hoe right there, what is the problem?
no, I understand that, but my thing is, I don't want to put a false narrative out, and then people associate that with her because
That's all
she's the
I'm
one
saying.
who technically did it almost textbook right for anybody.
Well, she when you put yourself out there like that, you're subject to people's
What the
public
fuck?
opinion.
No, no, no. But my thing,
Because
she should.
she's out in the public. Now, I'm not saying she's a hoe.
No, no, no.
I
My
want to be
thing
clear.
is,
You
she should be.
arguing for it?
No, no. This is my thing. She only responsible for what she did. I can't put what other women did on her, and I
Right.
don't want her to be the subject of the show. And then we argue what a bunch of other hoes did because
I, I get
She
it.
didn't go the whole route.
I
And my
get
thing
it.
is, I got to give her props for not going the whole route. She didn't do
I
that.
get it, Roger. And I'm saying you're not wrong. You're not wrong about that. But what I'm saying is when we say when a man says, "Oh man, that hoe right there, she got some whole tendencies," why are we wrong for saying that?
Let me
You're
can,
not.
can
Santana
I ask
don't
you a
like you
question?
Look,
calling these
no,
hoes hoes.
no.
Exactly.
The thing is that ain't the subject of the show
Show.
anyway. So it's
Okay,
not even that important to me right now, you
understood.
know. And then
Understood.
Aisha ain't the person who carried the whole stuff out. So my thing is, you
Exactly.
got to give
What
people
the fuck?
respect where respect is due.
No,
Don't drag
it's
her
better.
into hoes
Yes, sir.
filth. The
Yes,
hoes
sir.
are filthy enough. Let's not drag Aisha into
Let me
hoes
ask.
filth.
Yes,
Can
sir.
I ask one question? Because I'm assuming that, like, if we all got mothers and sisters and aunties,
Uh-oh.
There it
if
is.
they, you know what I'm
Here you
saying?
Your
go.
If
mama
they,
Here you
black.
go.
But
Your
Yes,
mama black.
yes, sir.
hold fast.
Listen,
Hold on. Let him
Oh my
talk about.
God.
Let him say what. Let him ask
Is
whatever
that
question he
for
about to
me
What I'm
ask about
or is
these
that for the
hoes.
panel? Is that for
No,
what
me or
I'm
no,
is that
no.
for
saying,
the
Hey,
panel?
hey, hey. Let him get the question out. He
this
about to ask the question about these
I did.
hoes. Let him
Go ahead.
ask it.
Go ahead.
right.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying is that if your mother thought like that, is she a hoe? What I'm saying is that
Yes.
Yes.
if I'm
If
saying
your
if a woman
mama thinks like a hoe, she probably a hoe.
okay,
Yes.
listen to the question. Listen to the question, because obviously, as
Yes.
men, we can think the same way when we get older. Oh man, we wish we would have did this when we was younger. We wish we would have did that. Does that make us hoes too?
Yes.
No,
Just
nobody.
because
Yes,
No,
pussy
we
good.
no,
whoremongers.
Hold
no.
on, hold
First of
on. Can I
all,
clarify something? Can I clarify
everybody
something?
stop. Everybody stop. First of all, he's trying to
Yeah,
conflate stuff that ain't even
exactly.
connected to each other.
It's not
Yes.
conflating.
Bro, we don't care. If we hoes are hoes. You can identify hoes. Aisha Curry
Yeah,
did not go a whole route, so we not gonna put that on her.
And I'm
She
right.
not
That's
didn't
not
saying
do it.
right.
you
She
said that,
actually did
Roger.
what most
No,
men's
she
mothers.
didn't.
She actually did what most men's mothers didn't do. She got
Right.
married at 22. You talk
Right.
about men, they mamas ain't got married at 22. And that's
Oh
what
my
you need to
God.
understand, bro. You talk about somebody's sister, his sister didn't get married at 22.
That's why I said a what if situation. I didn't even say
Well,
that
hold
they
on. This
would
is what I
got
wanted to
married.
Well,
clarify. Can I clarify, Roger? Because he's trying to conflate stuff that ain't got nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Okay,
We're
what am I
talking about
conflating?
a married woman who is what appears to be disrespecting her marriage. It ain't got nothing to do with hoes. It ain't got nothing to do with single chicks. It don't got nothing to do with baby mamas. It don't got nothing. We're talking about how it affects the man with the actions that she's been doing. That's
And
it.
I'm not conflating it. I actually said that somebody came up on
But
the
why are
show
you
and
bringing up
said that
hoes if we ain't talking about them today?
somebody just said, bro.
no,
He
somebody
made
made
he ended
some
he made a general comment about hoes. That's not the topic of
that
the
was not
discussion.
connected to her.
Can anybody admit your mama was a hoe?
I
I
can.
mean,
Yeah, yeah,
I've
people
I
have
can.
I,
admitted that already.
I
I've done
can.
I've done
Okay,
I've
okay.
done it
So if
publicly.
you can
I've done
admit,
it
Yes,
He
publicly.
yes.
said, "I
so if
did
you
it
can admit
publicly."
your mama was a hoe, if you
I
can
mean, I'm
admit
just
Yeah.
that your
saying.
auntie
I
was a
still
hoe,
love her. That's my mama.
and you can admit your sister is a hoe, then
My,
why is
my,
it
my,
a conversation about
Look,
being
look,
mad about saying
Come
somebody
on, y'all.
was
look,
Let's
a
just stop
hoe?
talking about hoes for now. And it's bad
the
for me
whole
to
thing
say it.
is I'm not finna change the show, but a person like him do need to realize grown men can look at their mama and say mama was not married at 22, she was out in them streets. Grown men
Facts,
can look at their
facts,
sister and say she wasn't married at 22, she was out in them streets. We can
facts.
see that. So guess what? Even when you put the blood association with it, it don't stop them from being hoes.
I agree.
Most
I
black
agree.
men got problems now because their mama was a hoe.
I
If
agree.
you want to be real about it, a lot of black men don't have a good relationship with their father right now because they mama a hoe.
Yeah. Yo,
So
Roger,
like
Chef Mike.
they see it, man. They
Chef
see it.
Mike.
So
Chef.
ain't no, well, what if that's your mama gonna change nothing? Because truth be told, for most black men, it is their mama. And it is their sister. It is their cousin.
Okay, you know what? I apologize for throwing that on whoever said it. It's just when they came up on the show and they started saying these hoes. If the topic is this situation with Aisha Curry, I'm just assuming that you put her in the same category. But if you didn't, I apologize.
So what if he
All
did?
right. All right.
There you
Chef
go.
Mike says at the Roger Report Live to the panel, relax and speak one at a time. Last warning. If you see me come up, y'all, y'all all will know what time it is. All right, y'all. So let's let this go, okay? Because she didn't go the whole route, which means she should be in a much better position. And as I was saying, the issue that she had on this particular show, where she was not representing the fact that she was a married woman well enough. If I'm gonna pick out a problem with her, the stuff about her not wanting to be a mother and not wanting to have kids, I didn't even think that was a big deal because of the context of how it happened. She was asked a direct question. She gave an honest answer. I think if anything, people should start, as men, you got to start looking at why be with a woman who doesn't want to be a mother? Why be with a woman who doesn't want to be a wife? And how that could play out. Now we saw it play out for Steph and Steph rich. So if it played out this way for him, what hell may you have to go through if you play it out with a woman and you're not rich? That's the lesson, you know.
Roger, he's
Well,
headed the Lhasa Pippen way.
I want. Oh, he got knocked off. But I got to get Tunnel Runner in. He ain't had a chance to say anything. So Tunnel Runner, before all that mess just started, I was trying to get you in. So go and I know Brad is backstage right now, y'all. Y'all do have to understand that I can only hold so many people on the panel. So if you give up your spot and somebody get it, I bring folks up when stuff is available. So if you ever get backstage and you waiting, If you're a privileged person, I will remove somebody for you. And more than likely, I'm going to remove the last person who came up, y'all. At the end of the day, sometimes you got to be fast. As they say, the early bird get the worm sometimes. So you got to be fast. So the privileged people won't have to wait. But if you're not a privileged person, you know,
Hey,
you got to
Roger.
have congressional privilege, elder privilege, or Ivy League privilege, or PhD privilege.
Hey,
And you're
Roger.
not going to have a bunch of shows with all of them up at the same time. It'd be one or two here or there. So,
Hey, Roger.
don't be the
I
last
know you-
person to check in is all I'm going to tell you.
Roger, I know you gotta let the others speak, but I gotta say this, Roger. I think you should move Shark Sims up to Ivy League because of his understanding of electricity, brother.
Nah, and I'm gonna say shout out to Santana. Look, y'all. There was room. I didn't ask somebody to lead the show. It was, I'm just saying this so y'all know generally what's gonna be happening because we've been getting some fuller panels lately. We didn't have fuller panels in the past, so I'm just letting y'all know what it is. Okay, so congressional privilege exists. You have elder privilege. You have Ivy League privilege, and there's PhD privilege. Those people will not wait. So I'm just letting y'all know if you come up too late because you up there messing around instead of jumping on the panel when you should, somebody come in, they may be able to knock you off because more than likely I'm just gonna knock off the last person that came up and just have y'all wait till something get freed up. Now, if you get a call or something like that and you get knocked off, y'all, it is what it is. I can't control everything. I got to keep the show running once the show starts. I got to keep it running smooth once it starts. So that's all I'm saying. But Santana, you was good, bro. You didn't have to do nothing. Everything was fine. Everything was fine.
Hey,
And what I'm not gonna do is put people off the show just cause. That I'm not doing. Okay.
I'm gonna push out because I come up here to support the channel. Hey, Roger, you know I rock with your stuff, man. And hit that like button. You guys hit that like button, support the channel. And
yeah.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody on the channel. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all, man. Hey, keep winning, brothers. Keep winning.
Now, I'm going to say, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We do this Monday through Fridays, 9 a.m. Chicago time. Not where you at. I get it. You might be in Little Rock, but we talking about Chicago time. Okay? Even if you in Detroit, you like, well, I'm in the same time. You ain't the same. It's Chicago time, not Detroit time.
God
okay?
damn.
It's Chicago time. Not you nearby neighboring people. I
You
don't even
have
care
to
if you in the
appease to the
suburbs.
East Coast, Roger.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you in the suburbs. It ain't Evanston time. It's Chicago time. Okay.
He kicking all kind of people on the way out, son. Ain't your time, nigga. Ain't your time either.
But yeah, let's get back to the show, y'all. Let's get back to the show. But and everybody hit that like button if you ain't already did it. And this is the thing, y'all, and this is why I'm saying something about why I don't want to drag Ayesha Curry into a whole conversation. Because number one, y'all understand, I don't really talk about people's wives too much. She is still somebody's wife. Okay. The black man she's married to, is he a respectable brother? Yes. Is he a productive brother? Yes. Is he a functional brother? Yes. Does he believe in black men's leadership? I do believe he does. Based on what I see for him, I believe he believes in black men's leadership. I ain't never seen Steph Curry go too crazy about nothing. And then we know his daddy too. I believe he very much believes in black men's leadership, which is why she has been making changes over time. Real talk. Shout out to Trail Benny. He said Waukegan time. Not Waukegan time either, but we on Chicago time. So number one, I'm not gonna have his wife just outrightly disrespected in a way that she just does not deserve. I don't want her having to carry the cross for what the hoes are doing. I'm gonna say I wish other hoes would have did what she did.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Nice.
Even if they don't know how to be the greatest wife, I got to give her credit for actually being in the position to become a wife. And she has maintained it, I think, pretty much more than a decade at this point. Matter of fact, it's got to be true when we look at their ages. So it's been a decade or better. And when do I say that I really understand the marriage is real? When you get the first decade in. She did all this. So she got to get a certain level of respect just anyway. That doesn't mean I got to agree with everything she say. I didn't necessarily like the fact that she was trying to have a conversation with a person and it was too much about what could I do on my own versus how I should move because I'm a married woman. I didn't like that. You know, I think the host is, well, I ain't going to even say I leave these other people alone. But there's a lot of problems I've seen in that hour, 4 minutes. I'm just going to say that, you know? And I hope I ain't got to go back over there no time soon. Even though I might, because I actually saw, you know, I saw my girl over there. Simone Biles went over there. So I'm kind of curious on how she handled things because Simone Biles carried her stuff in such a fantastic way. And I definitely want women to learn from her. That girl does a beautiful job. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jonathan, bro. You got you a good one, brother. You got you a good one. So I might go over there just to see how Simone Biles handled that type of scenario. Okay. So maybe coming up in the future. But y'all, we can't drag Ayesha Curry down with the rest of these hoes. She ain't perfect, obviously. She done made some mistakes here and there, obviously. I believe she cost her man a ring. I'm not even lying. I really believe that. Because the way he was performed after, bro, they was up 3-1. They only had one game to win.
MVP, baby. MVP.
You know? And before that happened, that never happened in the NBA when somebody folded 3-1 in the final. It never happened. It hardly ever happened in any other round. You know, you a game away from a championship and your woman would talk crazy. Bro, I think that caused such a public issue that Steph just wasn't right after that, man. He never had a good game after that before the season was over with. And all he needed was one good game to be a 5-time champion. And now he not. It's a shame. But that's the type of stuff a woman can cost you when she's not comporting herself the proper way based on who her husband is. At the end of the day, I can understand why she felt that way. I do get women think a personal attack on a husband is like a personal attack on them. And I actually can support a woman feeling that way. But there are unwritten rules, and you ain't supposed to come saying that. Steph was a star in the NBA. Even a bench player's wife shouldn't say that. But Steph a star. A mega star when it comes to the NBA.
Roger, think about how magical that year was for Steph. 2016.
Was that the same year they went 73-9? Was that the same year?
Yes, 73-9.
Greatest record ever. They beat out the Bulls. It was beautiful.
Now, see, I didn't even do that. The world came through and cut his mic off. The world came through and cut your mic off right after you said they beat the Bulls.
Ron.
I ain't nothing to do with that.
It happened on top, too.
But I will tell you this. 73-9 is a great record, but 72-10 has a better ring to it. Real talk.
God damn. That was low, Roger.
I'm going to let you figure that out.
That was low.
Hey, I didn't come up with that. That's on the t-shirt out there somewhere.
You took all the faith and hope that these young kids have. That one joke just clears all that out for a lifetime.
Roger, I have a question. And this is maybe a bit off topic, but since you live in Chicago.
Oh, Lord.
So is it better for Chicago when the Bulls win or when the Bears win?
Bears ain't won in a long time, brother.
Well, yeah, but like hypothetically speaking, if they were to win in the future, Chicago would be more lit if
I'm pretty sure
they don't have enough information for you to answer that question.
I believe it would be just as big a deal, if not more. But the Bears won when I was so young. It's hard for me to really say how it would go at this particular time and then the Bulls done won 6 times since they won. The Blackhawks done won 3 times since they won.
Yeah.
The Cubs got one since they won, and the Sox got one since they won. So a lot of stuff could have. Yeah, I'm gonna say I've been seeing all type of championships at the end of the day. We don't, and we've been doing all right as far as championships are concerned. I got enough to last me a lifetime. Okay, so it'll be hard to say how it would happen now because they ain't won in so long, and I done seen the 4 major sports team we all won. Heck, even the non-major team, the Chicago Fire, the soccer team that came in and they don't won. The Chicago Sky came in and they don't won. Like we just done seen too many championships at this point to really answer that question accurately. I would hope it would be just as big a deal, and I'm sure it would. I think it'd be well celebrated because we ain't celebrated them as champions in such a long time.
Hold up, as a New Yorker, can we change the subject, please? Back to the topic.
You know
Thank
what?
you, Shark. I appreciate that.
Y'all doing too much right now.
I ain't never liked them niggas. I ain't never liked them niggas. I'm gonna respectfully get back on subject, even though these Knickerbockers are requesting this time.
Damn.
Yeah, out of respect, but y'all blame Brad for that. That wasn't even me trying to stun
I was
y'all.
just
I wasn't even
curious.
trying to stun y'all.
Curious.
You know, yeah. But let's get back to Ayesha do get that championship ring. For a woman, getting that wedding ring is the championship. Ain't no other championships greater than that. And she did get one. She ain't had Steph just throw out as of yet. So I think she actually is improving because I did have to sit through this whole video. I ain't gonna come up here not being prepared. So I sat through this whole thing. She's definitely better than what she used to be. Lord have mercy, she definitely better. But I think because of where she went to, they obviously there's a certain agenda being pushed on there, and she's gonna concentrate on what you can do without your man. That's what it seems like to me. On my first time watching that channel, and like I said, I really don't want to go back there again, but I'm probably will because I want to see how Simone Biles handled the situation. Because I think that could be a great learning thing, how Simone Biles handled it. Now that I know she appeared on there, but yeah, Ayesha, she all right, man. She doing all right. She getting better. At the end of the day, this is Steph's wife, so we can only say so much. It is his problem to solve, but I think he's obviously working on the problem at the end of the day. And I got to salute him for working on the problem. Because when you love a woman enough to marry her, you're going to try to get her improved. And I think he's doing that. So what, is he ever going to make her a different person? Probably not. But if he can get her changed enough by the time he retires, more power to him. Because think about it. Once he retires, he got to be around that about 24 hours a day. Do you want that problem?
No, she don't want that problem. So what's going to happen is when he do retire, if he doesn't start like doing other stuff, sportscasting or whatever, then she's going to probably try to make moves on him after that. But he'll still be fine if she does. It won't be. I mean, just come on, man. Look, all these dudes that jump.
Oh yeah, you know what?
Jump ship.
Never did get in. Hold on.
Didn't get in. Sorry, Tunnel.
My
sorry,
bad, Tunnel.
Yeah, I was waiting. I'm like, whoa.
No, wait, but I called you though. What happened?
See how Chicago did you, Tunnel Runner?
Talking and laugh. Everything was going on. I just waited my time. I said,
man, my apologies. See, y'all, you disrespectful mother. Kind of run to go ahead. My bad. I apologize, brother. I apologize because I said I'm trying to make sure everybody get their open statements in very soon after they get up here, and I dropped the ball on you. My apologies, man. I Aisha'd you. My bad.
Yes, brothers. A lot of women are just, the talk is negative. They do not want to hear anything positive, especially from a married woman. So a lot of women will stop talking to women if they say too many positive things. But they will sit down, grab a chair, grab a cigarette if you're talking negative about your man or men in general. So for a lot of these women, if they want to talk to other women, they have to say something negative about their husband to keep their interest. Because a lot of women do not want to hear a woman having a wonderful time with her husband, because they're not having a wonderful time with their man. And so sometimes you have to tell your woman, don't be telling everybody what's going on, because you will get the haters.
You know what? Now that you mention that might be what the premise of that show is. Let's get married women on here to say negative things about their husband. That might literally be what they're trying to do. I only seen one episode. Lord have mercy, I'm not excited to go back and watch it. It was a tough listen, y'all. It was a tough listen. But
Because Roger, I don't
that
had
is a good point.
girlfriends that I had girlfriends who been telling me all the stuff they've been doing. They've been telling us all the stuff they've been going and doing with me, and then they have bad results from their co-workers and from their manager.
No, I totally get you. Hold on. He probably saying something he need to be saying in public. Boom. There we go. There we go. All right. I don't want nobody getting their business out there because I don't know who understands what. So all these different languages. I think you make a great point, though, Turnaround. I think that's a fantastic point. You know, and I do think for women, it is a pleasant thing for them to hear other women talk bad about their husband because it makes them feel better that they ain't got one. Because they'll be like, well, see, if I would have had a husband, he would have been doing something wrong anyway. You know, so that makes the unmarried women feel better about themselves. You know, and if you out here trying to make money, that's something good to play off of. You know, being real about it. Shout out to Emerald 72. What's happening, my brother? What's happening? Nah, wait a minute. Am I on mute?
No, I can hear you.
No, okay. Oh, okay. He got the roll of toilet paper like I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, nigga, I'm here. I'm here. I ain't in the bathroom on y'all. I ain't gonna do that to y'all. I'm gonna keep the show rolling and smooth. You know, but I'm gonna say I didn't hear her being too problematic on this particular show. I don't, you know, I think she way better than what she used to be. You know, she did talk about, you know, what she has been doing, but those opportunities clearly came because Stefford's her husband, and she did acknowledge it this time. You know, I was doing my thing, and the people came and got me. If Steph ain't your husband, ain't nobody coming to get you because you putting on some little social media stuff. Ain't nobody coming for you like that if he ain't your husband. But she acknowledges. So, you know, what else could she do at that particular point? You know, I do have to say, you got to look at sometimes how people are being questioned and what they're being questioned about. And I ain't gonna say the podcast name because I just think it's that disgusting to me, and I think it's even an insult to God Himself. And you know, so I ain't gonna even do that. But you know, when you're talking with people like that, how right can it go? That's how I look at it. How right can it go? You at the bottom. I don't know 100% for sure, but I'm gonna say it seemed like a bottom shelf thing to me, just based off the name. You know, and y'all know I really don't like to say nothing publicly about what somebody else doing with their stuff because they got a right to do it. They ain't bother me. I ain't trying to bother them. You know, I leave them where they at. I'm gonna stay where I'm at. But just the name of it alone, man, I had a real huge issue with that. But Perfect Timing podcast has come up. So now we get to hear from a person who I'm going to say got a better podcast. Perfect Timing podcast. You got the mic, my brother.
Thank you, brother. You too, man. Best show on the internet, man. Thank you. I've been in a bad marriage before. I've been divorced before. I don't know how many people have been married and divorced, but what I see is sometimes, and this is like not just in marriages, but it happens in marriages and relationships. Maybe some people could relate to it, but I see this as becoming they've become rivals, and it's become competitive, and I see that happen at the ends of bad relationships. So I think two things are happening. She's becoming not. I don't want it to say combative. That's not it, right? Even though for some reason it's bouncing around in my head, but I believe she's becoming competitive, hyper competitive with him, purposely because of her unhappiness. It reminds me a lot of the Jada Pickett, Will Smith episode we did, and that type of, you know, if you look at the red table and the discussions that were had, and even earlier, Roger, going back to your opening statement about how he was affected after being up 3, you know, that's I think if you know a code, women are calculated and cold. So I look at all this as purposely. If you look at Jada Pickett, what she did was purposely. She even brought it to the table, discussed it, made Will discuss it. This is what's happening now, right? I'm not saying that they will divorce because Will and Jada are still together, but I think we could agree that's a dead marriage, right? So I think we're looking at the last moments of a dying marriage, unfortunately, and she's just becoming ultra competitive because she wants to either express whatever may happen or may have happened. Similar to Jada, we don't know what is taking place behind closed doors, or she may be trying to create a soft landing for herself. And I'm eerily familiar with that, where she's publicly putting this out here so that whatever she does or what is to come. Look at even Cardi, when she creates the perfect opportunity where she launching the album. This is a soft landing for what she's trying to do, right? It's not my fault that I had sex while I was married and pregnant. I've already created a soft landing and covering for myself. I think she's doing the same thing. And it's very competitive. I don't know if it's fair to say combative, but it's very competitive, and I think it manifests as combative, especially when you look at how Rogers' analogy of how it affected him in the playoffs when he was down up 3, and they ended up losing, right? So it yeah, man, it's competitive to an abusive point, right? And we're all watching it, which is adding to the level of abuse, which is similar, to the public shame that Will Smith went through. And I think we all have to be honest that in retrospect, that was by design, right? And that's kind of scary to think about, right? But that's my opinion.
I mean, I think you brought some great stuff to the table, and you know what? That could be exactly what's going on. Maybe she's came to some thoughts that there will be a divorce in the future, and she may be trying to create that soft landing for herself. That does make sense. It does make sense. Now, I'm gonna hope for them that's not the case, because I would never wish divorce on people. It's just a thing that shouldn't have to happen. It's gonna happen here and there. It's definitely happened way more than it should happen. you know. And I don't want to wish that on Steph Curry, because, he got what he wanted at the end of the day. He got the girl he wanted to get because he married her. You can't say you didn't get the girl you wanted to get when you married her. Even if it's not the woman you really wanted to get, you married her, so you made it that way at the end of the day. So, and a divorce is a tough road to hoe. Real talk, y'all. I told y'all my father had to go through that. That ain't pleasant. And then when I start digging into stuff, learning about men who went through that, and to know that most men end up back at their parents' home after going through a divorce, and y'all understand some men ain't got parents, they have a parent, and that means you're gonna end up back at your mama house. And who wants to be in their 40s in a mama house, and you got to do the dating process all over again?
No, it's like a death. It's like a death. It's like losing someone, it's like a death. Until you go through it, it's like a death, man. Even though the person is still alive, it's like a death. That's the only thing I could compare it to.
Yeah, that's probably a very fair comparison, And as a man, if you getting stuff stripped away from you while your loved one has died, proverbially, that's even worse. Because it's hard enough just to lose somebody, but to lose somebody and lose your stuff at the same time, come on now, that's big. Now, her being a woman and being in this American society, she can do some things to get people to feel some type of way toward her, so she don't have to suffer too much. And y'all, let's keep it real. That's how American society works. A woman come out and say she needs some help. What do people normally do? They throw money at her. She ain't got to do nothing crazy.
She might get a podcast out of this, a TV show.
I mean, she got a name enough to start one now. Really, her name is big enough to do that now. Go ahead, J-Lo.
I'm taking a wild guess. Now, I think it's some cognitive dissonance within her, which is within them, almost all women. I think she has these aspirations or the thoughts of what she could and would be or whatever. But I think deep down inside, she knows she cannot do no better than this man. This man is the best thing that ever happened to her, and it doesn't get no better. So I think it's a conflict with her. So yeah, there's some jealousy, being competitive. I think all that's mixed in. So that's why I kind of think, again, I'm just taking a wild guess. I don't know this woman, of course. I think she's gonna settle down. I think, man. I think that's what I think. I could be way off. She might be preparing for this divorce down the line or whatever. But I think she knows Steph Curry is the best thing that ever happened to her, and I think she's gonna be all right. That's my guess.
I hope
Does
so.
she at this point in time know that?
Say that again.
Does she at this point in time know that Steph is the best thing that's ever happened to her?
That's what I'm saying. It is a conflict. That's what I'm saying. I think she has this thing that's telling her that be aspirational. I can do this. I can be this whatever boss lady, and I want all this attention from other men. I mean that she's still having those thoughts and those feelings. Absolutely. But I
Yeah,
think deep down, I think she knows that she can't do no better. I think she doesn't know. She knows that she can't do any better.
So what does that make Steph for waiting on that process?
Hopefully.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
well, I just want to say it's a difference between knowing something and accepting something. So I think when it comes down to it, it's about she hasn't accepted that she can't outdo Steph yet. I think she knows that she can't outdo Steph, but she hasn't accepted that she can't outdo Steph. And I think, unfortunately, there may be still something in her where she wants to just outdo Steph, you know? Because I mean, Black Rule made a point. Why is she still doing these podcasts and things? Because why do this is the thing, y'all. Why do people go do podcasts and things? It's to promote something. If there's nothing to promote, why are you doing it? There's a difference between having a podcast, a discussion-based podcast like I'm doing, versus you going on somebody's show as a guest. Usually people do that to promote something. So she's promoting herself based on because she ain't say nothing about a new book coming out or anything like that. So she's promoting herself. Now, why are you doing all that? Now, this is the thing. She could just start her own podcast right now. She has enough of a name to do so. But the thing is, it still would be attached to Steph. We still gonna say, yeah, we're gonna tune in so we can see what Steph's wife has to say. That's how that's gonna work. That's just the reality of the situation. Women may go to her show to see something else, possibly. I do believe she has some women fans out there. How could she not? It's trash people who do content. They got fans too, and they do a horrible job, but they got fans. So I'm pretty sure she got some fans out there. But if you're gonna do your own, you gotta put everything you need to put into to structure it. And then her being at her level and being who she is, then there's a certain amount of weight of how you should present yourself that she would have to take into account as well. So maybe that's what she's gonna come out with later.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
She always gonna be Curry. Like Juanita always Jordan and Shawnee was always O'Neal. She always gonna be Curry. That's a good point. She never can. None of them can get away from that because of the men they married. So she can't come out. She always is going to be a Curry. That's a cold gag right there. Shawnee always with the TV shows, even today after being married and divorced, she still is Shawnee O'Neal.
Exactly. And that's how the world gonna see her. And ain't nothing she can really do about it at this point.
Nothing.
You have to wait 30, 40, 50 years so people can forget who you was attached to. And the people who knew you was attached to, they're gonna have to die off. But yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Shawnee O'Neal just gonna be Shawnee O'Neal to all of us.
No.
What if she take her last name? What if she takes back her real last name? So like if her name is I don't know Stephen Curry's wife's name, but if she just take her last name so it'll be Jamie Johnson. Ain't nobody checking for that podcast for the Jamie Johnson podcast.
Not at all. Not at all.
Grand point. So, and my thing is, so she knows she kind of stuck where she at. What she gonna do about it? I don't get it. You know, I think she may have went to the podcast she went to so she can get a bunch of women fans, possibly. Or maybe this is a way to get some support over some quote unquote girl power. It could be a very strategic move. We just don't know what the strategy is yet because she ain't told us about her own podcast, or we're just unaware that she has her own podcast. But the thing is, she could actually get other women to come to her podcast and build up some star power. I mean, she got some connection. She could do something and start doing something with some WNBA players more than likely, and then you move from there. But you
So
got to be smart to figure this stuff out and be willing to do what you got to do to make it all happen at the end of the day. And there's also the whole point of you get to enjoy this great lifestyle too. So, you know, the fire don't sit under people sometimes because the lifestyle they live is so right. You know, why work really hard and really tough and do all this stuff and you not poor? Your people moved into a neighborhood, it seems, that Steph Curry was living in. That's not the mark of poor people. Okay, now maybe it wasn't the exact same neighborhood, but I remember her saying something about them being in school together, and she definitely said they met going to a church together. So even if they met going to a church, I mean, what kind of church did you go to? Were you going to church where rich NBA players' children are? Because I'm pretty sure they don't go to poor people churches.
Rich black people though.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of neighborhood and church was that?
Yeah. So I don't think she's felt struggle. Whoever her daddy is was probably working his behind off to get his children in a good position, and looks like he achieved it. You know, mama probably supported her daddy. You know, it just seemed like she ain't had too hard of a life. And I'm not trying to say something bad about people who didn't have a hard life, because I'm not out here wishing people to have bad lives. I would love to know it's a bunch of black people coming up here, and well, I can't wait till we get to the point where most black people don't have a hard life. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing against the people who did not have a hard life. I wouldn't wish certain things that I had to go through on other people, and that's just real talk. You know, wouldn't do that. You know, now my life ain't been as bad as others, but there's definitely some people who live better than me. So, and I believe that's a good, beautiful thing. But sometimes it's hard to appreciate how great your life is because it's been great your whole life. You know, it's still just like that fish who's swimming in water. You've been in water the whole time. You know, you was born to some well-to-do people. You then grew up, met some more well-to-do people. Now you're married to a well-to-do man. She been water the whole time. She don't know she wet yet.
She think the grass is greener. That's what she sound like. She sound like the grass is greener. It could have been, and she sounds like it could have been greener. But what I want to ask you, Roger, I don't feel like this is married woman behavior, right? And then on the other side, like when we saying that she's going through this process, again, like what does that say for Steph and married men after 4 kids and millions of dollars, like, and your wife is going through a process? Even people like Will Smith was Jada claimed to need to go through a process after millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? That process included sleeping with another man. How much of a process do we allow? And is that what it means to be a husband? And I don't know. This just sound kind of, I mean, we being very forgiving to her. Like, and you know.
Well, I do think black men have to come to terms with requiring more from their women. I just think as a collective, we're just not used to requiring stuff from our women, which puts us in a bad spot in the first place. That's what I really believe. And then women, you know, according to what's been going on with social media and mainstream media now, if you ask a woman to do something, they use words like oppression and slavery just to get you not to ask them to do anything. And a lot of men listen to it. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
Now, me, I don't care what no woman talking about what my husband made me do. I don't think I'm doing a good job if my wife can't say what her husband made her do. Because that's literally my job. I'm supposed to make you do stuff, you know? And at the end of the day, if I'm not making you do stuff, somebody else might make you do something. And I don't need a bunch of other people making my wife do something. She needs to be doing what I'm telling her to do.
Hey, Roger, they call me a tyrant.
You see what I'm saying, y'all? You see what I'm saying?
So
telling his wife what to do.
So is he finding out on the internet like us? Because I would have to give my wife permission And I'm a tyrant too. So is he giving her permission to do these podcasts, or is he finding out like us? Is he away at practice? Is he at training camp? Because that's another.
I'm gonna say, based on what I believe with certain things that he said in the media and how he seems to operate, I don't think he thought it was a big deal.
No. I think the question he said is when is he finding it out? Is he like finding it out like we finding it out, or was there talk before she went on the show? Like, because that can affect your a good record NBA league. You know what I mean? Run. So is that what happened, or you know what I'm saying, are they PR people actually having a conversation before she go on and do these things? I would like to know. Good, perfect timing, perfect question.
Well, I'm gonna say I hope it's being more scheduled now, because at least in this one, they did acknowledge it was scheduled in the off season. So maybe she's not allowed to do stuff while the season's going anymore. And might be because she cost in that ring back in the day. If she mess up, at least do it in the off season.
That's cold. I heard you say that earlier. That's why I asked, like, because it seemed like that time he didn't know, and that's like cruel, right? That's like what they, I can't even get the word out. How you say irreconcilable disposition? You say it.
Well, I mean, I just said what it was. You know, because they literally said that on the show. She was like, "Is it better that I caught you in the off season?" She was like, "Yeah." So now my thing is they acknowledging it's in the off season. I don't think she's allowed to talk while the season going. Truth be told, now that I think about it, because we ain't heard nothing while the season was going on. She probably not allowed to talk while the season going.
And why put that in the podcast?
And she literally said, one of the first things she said, this is one of the first things she said, "I hope I don't say anything that gets me in trouble."
Yep. You can edit that out. This is not a live podcast. You can edit that out.
Yeah. So, and that's why I believe Steph done had some talks with her. And Sharp makes a great point. They probably had PR people start talking to her. Look, you got to learn how to stay away from stuff like this, and you got to learn how to lean into stuff like this. You know? So that probably had, and she sound way better today, if you ask me. I ain't saying she sound perfect, but when I compare her to what she was saying years ago, man, she did a way better job. You know, and I understand when it comes to progress, sometimes you can't progress fast enough for some people. But I gotta say, y'all, I saw progress in this one. And I honestly think people blew up this thing about her saying she don't want to be a wife and not having kids. I think they blew it away too much because of what was said in the past. She just simply answered the question. I didn't want to be a wife and a kid at those times. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, what do we know when we young? We don't know who we really are. She said all that type of stuff too. So she just didn't understand she wanted to be a wife and a mother back then. Which my thing is, that's just giving an honest answer. To me, it did not come off as a slight to who she is now. She didn't come off as saying, I would rather right now be a person who's not married and not have children. She didn't come off that way to me. And my thing is, I could come out here trying to put people on blast, but if that ain't what I saw, that ain't what I saw. And I'm going to keep it real. So today's show wasn't the show I thought it was going to be. Because, you know, like I said, I heard the clip and I seen, you know, there's a lot of reactions to this clip. I ain't listened to them. I just listened to Godfrey. You know, shout out to Godfrey. And that was it. And I think he just saw a clip. Honestly. That's what I believe now. Now that I watched the whole interview, I think he just saw a clip and reacted to the clip. But I don't think she meant at this point, I would rather be a woman who's single and not have children. The way I heard it, it sounded like back then, I thought I wanted to be a single woman and not have children. But I'm better off now. And my thing is, I got to respect her for that. Because if I don't respect women for what they're doing right, what's the point of saying what they're doing wrong? When you think about it, ain't that the very problem we have mostly with black women?
Hey, are we holding her up now as a poster for wives to be? I'm confused, man.
I ain't gonna say a poster, but I mean, she's way better in comparison.
Because she's shown improvement.
I mean, the fact that she was literally married at 22, she wasn't working the streets like these other hoes do.
Her scorecard, I got you. Her scorecard, she do got straight A's. I give her that. She got straight A's.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, I mean, the thing about her improvement is a great thing because other women should be able to see that I can be a better person as the years go on, no matter what my situation is, even if it's a high pressure situation as being an NBA All-Stars wife. Because being an NBA All-Stars wife is much different than being a NBA bench player's wife that most people don't even know and most people won't even remember. Because let's keep it real. Most people don't remember bench players unless they play for your actual city. Or that's the team you root for. And real talk, you forget a lot of those people if they don't win no championships for you. So she's in a high pressure situation when it comes to being in the public eye. And she ain't said nothing as dumb as what she said about the referees for years now. So if I can't give her credit for what she's doing right, then why say anything about what she's doing wrong?
Good point. Good point. She came a long way.
Absolutely. She came from costing a man a championship to saying, I don't even want to talk to y'all till after the season over.
And she acknowledged her wrongdoing and she's corrective action.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be able to see what's there. You know, now Santana been backstage for a while, but we got some room that opened up for you. Get it in now, my brother. Get it in now. What's cracking?
Hey, you know, I think I heard one of y'all say about her being on the podcast. Somebody said in the chat that she had like a cooking show. So it kind of makes sense in a way because she said in the interview that she wanted to be this big time actress. So that kind of gives off that she wants the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? Like she wanted them type of females. That's pretty much what it's giving to me. It's like it ain't giving that she want to be bigger than Steph. It's just, you know, she wants some of that light too, you know?
Steph done did all kinds of stuff to get her the light. At the end of the day, just like she said, they can open the doors for her, but she got to walk in there and perform. Bro, she do want to be bigger than Steph. If you listen to her, she definitely wants to be bigger than Steph. And my thing is, that's one of the conflicts she's battling with. She'll probably never be bigger than Steph. And I think if she wants to be real about it, if she wants to pursue other things, she probably should just wait till Steph retires. And if Steph don't go become an analyst or something, if he don't get a TV job, which he might not necessarily do, because he kind of rich, y'all. Steph got money, okay? So he ain't gonna necessarily have to do anything after retirement from a public perspective. You know what I'm saying? He probably just keep collecting endorsement money, might have a few businesses or something like that, but he ain't necessarily got to do no TV jobs, you know, because that's what you do sometimes if you wasted all your money during your career, you get your nice, comfortable TV job so you can still live okay. Steph may not do any of that because he got money.
Maybe it's me. I don't think they gonna divorce because, you know, more times than not, when a woman want to divorce you, it's other women in her ear talking like, "Oh yeah, that man ain't nothing. You can do better than him." You know what I'm saying? It's always friends in her ear. I'm pretty sure them friends in her ear talking about, "Girl, you ain't gonna never find another Steph Curry. You better stop tripping."
Well, see, that's the whole thing. No matter what the women want to say in her ear, he's still Steph Curry.
Right.
You know, they could be saying bad things, but he's still Steph Curry. How do you accept it? And that's why I'm saying, even with us as the world who's seeing this stuff goes down, it's like we know you can't do better than Steph Curry. If you lose out on him, who you gonna get with that we ain't gonna clown you about?
Exactly.
You know, you can do what you want to do, but the truth is, we probably gonna clown you for whatever man you get after Steph Curry.
Facts. Her friends gonna clown her too. They gonna be the main ones lining up when she leaves Steph Curry on it.
So that's why I think her best bet is just to shut up, chill, Wait till Steph retire where the light ain't on him as much. And if he ain't going out doing other stuff, I'm talking about on TV, then try to build your empire and make it shine like that. Then you can feel the way you want to feel that you this bad chick and you just got this man who gonna support you. And Steph a good guy. He's gonna support his wife. He done proved that already. You
Yeah,
know?
he be giving to me like I think people was talking about, oh yeah, he ain't check her or this and that. Man, this is this man's first woman ever. This man don't even understand women. He understand this woman. He ain't never been with nobody. He don't understand how women is, how they move. Plus, again, this is a non-story because this is how a
What
lot of women be thinking when they get older.
well, you know what though? My thing is this. It's not even about that. This his wife. He understands how big he is. It is different for him to check his wife publicly than you do. See, your wife could come on the podcast right now. You could check her, bro, but that's only the people who hear the Roger Report live right now. The numbers are relatively small in comparison. If Steph Curry check his wife, that is worldwide news. So I think he understands enough about life. And keep in mind, his daddy an NBA player. He understands enough about life that I'm not going to check her in public. I'm too big to check her in public. If there's going to be some checking, it'll be in private. That's what I believe that is. And shout out to Black Rule Strikes, who says she will never shine as brightly as Steph. And even if she leave him, she will continue to market herself via her prior connection to Steph, which I can't help but agree with. And he said, whose wife or ex-wife of an all-time great in any sport do you remember and talk about? You know what? None of them. Because we don't talk about Muhammad Ali's wife. You know, we don't talk about Michael Jordan's wife. We don't talk about Babe Ruth's wife. We don't talk about Brett Favre's wife. So I mean, that's just a solid point.
What
And
about
he also said, other than that foolishness, Real Housewife of Hell nonsense. And we definitely ain't talking about none of them hoes. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think that fact is what's going to keep her in place, man. That's what I think. That's what I'm banking on. I'm shooting. I think she know. I think she knows that, man. She's looking at this, and you can hear her insecurity, man. When people talk about the shape of her face and all that stuff, man. I think she gonna stay put, man.
Yeah, to me, I ain't gonna lie. I don't think certain women like to separate themselves. I mean, as far as in her position, she don't want to separate herself because if her kids got all of their last name, why would she want to go back to her maiden name? And that kind of means something to a woman in a way, man. She that means something to them.
Well, but the thing is, a lot of women will try to play both sides of the fence, and I believe she's accepted that that's really not going to go across and from a public standpoint. We're going to connect her to Steph because Steph is so big, Steph is so great, however you want to look at it, and she's just not going to be able to erase that. And she wants to win by her own merit, which is not the thing you do when you get with the greatest shooter of all time. That's not a smart move to make. Yeah. And I'm not gonna say she's not talented, but you ain't got the type of talent that's gonna put her in the position she want to be in. And that's just keeping it real.
That remind me of R. Kelly wife, and she's still walking around here with his last name, even though they divorced.
Most wives gonna keep the last name. That's a general thing that happens. Women don't go back to their maiden name from a general
Yeah,
standpoint. I don't know if men
you
don't
know,
know that or not, but most women gonna keep their husband's last name.
Yeah, no, I ain't know that.
the greatest example of a woman doing something big after splitting up from her husband would be Tina Turner, but she still would not have done that without his name.
Heck,
Facts.
it was such an issue. She fought to keep the name.
That's right.
Facts though. She
That's
did
right.
go to court for that name.
Yeah, and it goes like with the principles that we talk about here on this show, is that a woman truly doesn't start winning until she gets a husband, and they just need to learn to accept that. Like she's winning, and she can continue to win with his name as his wife. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, she hit the lottery early, man. Sometimes you gotta sit down and enjoy it, man. Yeah, and you know, broke women be trying to stunt on hoes. My thing is, you're a rich woman, just stunt. You don't even got to. It just come with the territory because of who you are. Your life is an automatic stunt. You know what I'm saying? So I think for men, it is disappointing to see that if you fight all these different things off and you get into this certain position that you could have a wife that will come off as ungrateful as she or ungrateful as she is when we see what Steph did and we understand, or at least we have an idea of how hard that can actually be. Because most of us don't have a thought process like we gonna ever be in the even the NBA players don't be thinking they're gonna be the greatest ever in the NBA. They be like, man, I'm just trying to get into that thing.
But I ain't
But
gonna
to
lie,
have a
that's kind
thought process that I'm
of,
gonna be the greatest shooter the NBA has ever seen. Ain't no man thinking like that for the most part.
but I
So
ain't gonna
for him to achieve that and for us to see you're not showing enough gratitude, that's a bad spot.
But I ain't gonna lie, I think other females make females feel like that. Cause some females they get on or they get something and they be like, I don't need no man for shit. I ain't need no man to get this. So with a woman like her that actually needed her man to get something, it's kind of like, they want to feel accepted by those other women that got it out the mud and knowing they needed a man to get it. That'll fuck with their ego a little bit.
Yeah, but how's we as men supposed to deal with that?
Facts.
I don't care about how you felt about what your girl did. I care about what you made happen for me. You know what I'm saying? That I ain't trying to hear that. That's just being for real. And I think any normal man is gonna be in a position where he ain't trying to hear all that, man. That ain't no excuse to mess up my marriage. Cause you married to me. You ain't married to your friend.
That's right.
So, that's just what it is, y'all. But we are at the 3 hour mark. So what I'm finna do right now, we're gonna do some closing statements. Jado will be last, which will put Kevin 3905 first.
Oh man, I'm in the pole position. I appreciate that. Man, I think once again it's important for young men that are prodigies in anything to understand that you need to go forward into your career and make your achievements before getting married. I think it's a good example of that. And for these young ladies out here, man, you're never really going to be greater than your husband. It's your husband's name that you are tarnishing or that you're uplifting, and they should consider that. And I'll land with that.
Okay. And I want to say shout out to you. I appreciate it. He sent the $5 cash up in, say for the electric bill. Shout out to you for that. Shout out to you for that, y'all. And I got a cash app that I'm holding for a while. I'm gonna let these other guys get in. But I really want y'all to hear what's in this cash app and who it came from. But I'm holding that until the other guys get their closing statements in. So go ahead, Santana.
Yeah, shout out to Ayesha Curry, man. Ain't nothing wrong with wanting more out of life than just being somebody's wife and a mother. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Shark Sims, you got it. Oh, and I got something to tell you after the show over with. I was supposed to text you last night. So right after the show, I'm gonna tell you. Go ahead.
Damn, Roger, I don't want these niggas knowing I know you, man. Damn, man.
My bad.
Nah, but I just want to give another big shout out to Hot Sauce for the niggas in the wilderness because he ain't never lied with that one. Everybody have a good weekend and see y'all on Monday.
Okay. Uh you deserve it, Steph. Any last words?
Last word. Stop marrying your bug downs.
Jado, what you got, brother?
First off, like, comment, subscribe, share the content. Yeah, man, like a lot of these things, man, that's going on with these women internally, and we think we can fix it. We feel guilt because of it. We think we're going to do something to, change it. I'm going to, have sex with her harder, I'm going to do this. I'm gonna buy her this. I'm gonna, tell her to do this. I'm gonna give her this many tasks to do, and she's gonna straighten out. And a lot of times, man, it's within this woman. The woman got to make a choice to be a wife. And I think one of the best thing a woman can be is be a man's wife, man, and raise it and be a good mother to her children, man. I don't think it gets better than that for a woman. And I'll end right there.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna read this real quick too from Jadeo. Jadeo did say, Roger, I think Ayesha wanted to be like Vivica A. Fox when she was growing up. Like a lot of young men wanted to be like Mike. Hollywood B actress, unmarried with no children. Yikes. Long live the habitual line step. You know what? That could very well be true. That could very, very well be true. Now I'm gonna say this. Shout out to the one and only Trust. She sent a $10 cash app, y'all. That's why I say, look at who's saying this. She says Ayesha is disgraceful and bored. Yes. So that's how I was reading to her. This is just Ayesha being disgraceful and bored. That's not a good combination, y'all. And I say it's fantastic that women can see it too. I'm going to give her credit for being better than she was, because she was awful. Now it's just she's a little off. I just she went from being awful to just off. But I'm going to say, hey, pray for her at the end of the day, because Steph like her. And Steph's a good guy. And I'm gonna pray that it gets better. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? They got a whole life in front of them if they want it. They already rich. Things can be better. They ain't got to do that much. They shouldn't have to struggle to have a better life. Real talk. And if she wants to be more than a wife and a mother, I'm not gonna say there's something wrong with that. But you need to learn how to make sure it's cool with your husband. And at the end of the day, you can be more than that. But I think it's just an issue of she's a black woman competing with her husband, and she should just stop competing. Wait till that man retires, then do your thing, and get your little shine that you just gotta have. If you just gotta have that shine, wait till after he retires, and then you can get your shine. He'll still have a light to put on you when he first retires, but now he's not playing anymore, so there's no comparison about how great Steph is to whatever it is that she's able to accomplish. And then she could get the shines the way she wanted, but it could not be an issue where it's distracting to the family. Because see, now the whole family can move around the stuff you doing. See, if you got to do something in Jersey, we can all just go to Jersey because Steph is retired. If she got to do something in Hawaii, we can all just go to Hawaii because Steph's retired. It ain't like her children got to get a job working for anybody other than their parents. And so my thing is, black folks, use what you got, man. Sometimes we have more resources than we pay attention to, and we think we got to get it from somewhere else when you could just build stuff right there in your own family. Real talk. Y'all have a great weekend. Again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We do this Monday through Friday, Chicago time. Yep, you could be in Dalton, Illinois. But we ain't talking about your time. We talking about Chicago time. Y'all have a good weekend. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm
Go
Roger.
Bears.
I'm right. And I'm out.